Serbia against England, both unbeaten without having conceded a goal in this section so far. And the England team tonight, Anthony Gordon just sprints over there and has a little embrace with Reece James, and there's a high five with Noni Madueke as well, and the players just preparing now for the start of this fifth match for England in the group. Serbia against England, the Serbian team, Dragan Stojkovic, the great Dragan Stojkovic, their coach. He's also made 4 changes for this match, and before we get underway, there's going to be a moment's silence to remember the recently deceased Dobrovoce Tanasijevic, whose image is being shown on the big screen at one end of the stadium.
And a member of the Football of Serbia Executive Committee, but also a long-time official of the Football Association. We kindly ask you for a moment of silence to pay the last respect to one of the most loyal ambassadors of Serbian football in the world.
That is the whistle blown by one of the most experienced referees around, Clement Turpin, the Frenchman, who's refereed the Champions League final in his time. I don't think it's any coincidence that a referee of that standing has been appointed to this match, and there is, I think, a nervousness in the home sections in the Serbian Football Association. They are very, very keen that this passes off without incident here this evening, and have made themselves very clear on that front, and there is the 3-step UEFA protocol which has been discussed by the England players in advance of this match. Serbia team, Petrovic in goal, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, Irakovic, Milenkovic, the captain from Nottingham Forest, and Pavlovic, the 3 central defenders, Nedeljkovic as the match begins. England kick off, Declan Rice playing it back to Jordan Pickford. So Nedeljkovic, one of the players coming in, he's at Leipzig, currently on loan from Aston Villa. That's a long pass from Pickford to Kane inside the penalty area, tried to head it back towards the edge of the box, and Thomas Tuchel said it at the weekend, they're not going to be frightened to go direct, and that's what they did. Paul Robinson right from the start.
Spoke about long balls, spoke about the importance of set plays, that he's not afraid to go direct. Immediately from the kick-off, all the England players lined up on the halfway line. Declan Rice played it back to Jordan Pickford, who in turn launched it all the way into the Serbian penalty box, and Harry Kane was battling for the header. Came to nothing, but early intentions are clear.
So England with Mark Gay, who's able just to knock the ball across to Ezri Konsa, and a slip there in centre field by Elliot Anderson, but England are still in possession at the back. So yes, the rest of the Serbia team, Nedeljkovic on the right hand side, Ilic, Lukic of Fulham, Maksimovic and Birmancevic across the middle section, then Zivkovic and the Juventus man Vlahovic, who scored the winner in Riga against Latvia on Saturday. England attacking down the right hand side with Noni Madueke, who is hauled to the ground, and that is a free kick. Birmancevic is another one of the 4 players who've come in, manhandled him to the ground, and it is a free kick in a very good position for England on the right.
Noticeable from England already, the 2 wide players when England are in possession, Madueke and Anthony Gordon, they both get the old-fashioned chalk on the boots. As soon as England have got the ball, the wide players really stretch the pitch. Noticeably already early on, England in possession, they're trying to make the pitch as big as they possibly can.
England playing from right to left in the first half, and this free kick out there on the right wing, Declan Rice to take it. 4 England players gathered around the penalty spot. Anthony Gordon currently standing beyond the defensive line. Referee Turpin has just actually run across into the penalty area just to have a word with certainly Ezri Konsa. Anyway, Declan Rice is ready with the free kick into the near post. It's a poor delivery from Declan Rice and easily cleared away by Vlahovic, and England take up possession again on the halfway line. The England side tonight, Paul, Pickford in goal. He's got the ball right now. In fact, he's going for another long pass. Pickford looking for Madueke, and it's headed out of play by Birmancevic for a throw into England. over on the right-hand side. So Reece James, Konza, Gay and Livramento are the back four, with Elliot Anderson, second cap here after he performed so well on Saturday at Villa Park. Morgan Rogers coming in, Declan Rice, then Madueke on the right, Gordon on the left, and Kane on the bench. What do you think?
Well, it's the same formation that we're used to with Thomas Tuchel. He's not going to stray away from the 4-2-3-1. You can understand the two holding midfielders in games like this. Maybe not so sure about it in the lesser games where you're looking for more attacking quality to break teams down. But Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson, they seem to be his favoured partnership at the moment. And you can see England have started quite brightly, pressed high up the pitch, and they are noticeably going longer.
Thomas Tuchel said it was going to be a job, as Madueke now takes the ball down the right-hand side and cuts into the penalty area, but Birmancevic went with him, and in the end the final touch was off Madueke and behind for a goal kick, although I see Madueke there is pointing out to the assistant on the far side that he feels that he received a tug from the left wing back, but it is a goal kick.
It was Birmancevic, wasn't it, that was checking him back. Madueke did extremely well. He knew that as soon as he got into the penalty area, you couldn't touch him. Slightest of touches and he went down. It wasn't a foul for me.
No. So it is 0-0, very early stages. 5 Live, this World Cup qualifier. Choice of listening tonight, by the way, the Wales-Canada game is on Sports Extra. You can listen to the commentary on that match on Sports Extra. But England with Reece James on the right-hand side. Reece James, the Chelsea captain, who's started both matches this month. Then back to Mark Gay now, who's a little bit of a doubt but has been able to train. Anthony Gordon coming in for Rashford on the left-hand side. Back to Konza. Now James again for Madueke down the right-hand side. Madueke turns, gives it back to Reece James. Rogers points that he wants it inside the penalty area, but actually England go back to Rice, who is now carrying the ball out towards the right-hand side, and Madueke goes back to the halfway line. So 0-0, very early stages. I did mention Dragan Stojkovic, the great Dragan Stojkovic, a former teammate of Chris Waddle's at Marseille. He's a real Serbian footballing hero, as James plays the ball to the edge of the box, and that is headed away out of play by Pavlovic for a throw into England, level with the edge of the penalty area. But he was booed, Dragan Stojkovic, when he came out from the tunnel, and I'm informed that is because he has publicly supported the president of Serbia over recent unrest. So the crowd have made it plain to him what they think of that. 0-0 with England in possession. These floodlight pylons brightly shining down here on what is a warm evening after a beautiful day here. Bright sunshine. Harry Kane, right side of the penalty area. Then it's stabbed back by Rogers. Now from Elliot Anderson. Out to James, whose deep crosses over everyone inside the penalty area, and it's cleared away, but actually Livramento is able to take up possession. Gordon, all Newcastle United for England there. Then it comes back to the former Newcastle man, Elliot Anderson, 25 yards out. Elliot Anderson just to his left to Declan Rice, then back to Anderson. England dominating the possession. Rice on the edge of the box goes for goal, but the shot was more or less straight at goalkeeper Petrovic, who was able to drop down to his left and field it.
They really have started well, England. Thomas Tuchel spoke about the high press, starting on the front foot. We've seen a lot more creativity and urgency in England's play in this opening 5 minutes than we did all weekend at Villa Park. I think they started on the front foot. Yes, they've gone longer. The wide players have caused problems, and I think with Serbia playing with the two wing-backs, very important for England, the two wide players occupy those two wing-backs and make them play with a back five.
Dusan Vlahovic just miscontrolled the ball there, and the reason you can hear this reaction from the crowd is that having miscontrolled it, he then dived into the challenge with Reece James and fouled him, and actually that could have been nasty for James, and I'm pleased to see that he's okay and hasn't suffered any ill effects.
Yeah, he looks okay. It's a proper centre forwards challenge, wasn't it, from Vlahovic? Lost possession midway through in the England half and lunged in at Reece James. Unfortunately he's up, we're back playing. Reece James looks okay.
0-0 here in Belgrade. England again, but the offside flag is up against Madueke. England have really looked to attack down the right-hand side in these early stages, but Madueke just in an offside position. Earlier, Republic of Ireland lost for the first time in this World Cup qualifying campaign. They were beaten 2-1 in the early kick-off in Armenia, and a couple of later scores: Cyprus 0, Romania 1, and in that fascinating group involving Norway and Italy, Norway have got an early lead against Moldova by 1-0. I wonder who scored it, as Rogers tries to force his way through the middle, but is challenged on both sides. A fair challenge, and Serbia have got the ball inside their own half. All in blue, Serbia, England all in white, and it was Felix Myra who scored for Norway. Not you know who.
Is that who you're leaning towards? It's
that wasn't who I was suggesting, Paul.
Unusual if he doesn't.
So 0-0 it is. Paul Robinson with us, 7 minutes played, but a good start from England. Thomas Tuchel said in advance of this that he did expect it again for England to be a task against a 5-4-1, and that's exactly what it's been so far. The Serbian back five, and England having so much possession, and already really promising attack, which ended in that Declan Rice shot.
And that shows you the possession that England are having, because this Serbia team are a back five. He likes to play the manager with a back three. He pushes the wing backs on, and he likes them in advanced areas. But the way that Madueke and Anthony Gordon have started is not allowing their fullbacks to push on, and England are having a lot of joy in the wide areas. So we are seeing a Serbian team, we didn't expect it, sat in a low block with a back five.
Serbia 0, England 0. Remember, they played each other in the first match at the Euros in Germany last summer, but the teams are much changed. 6 changes for Serbia, 7 for England from that. Ball over the top for James to chase onto inside the penalty area, but Pavlovic did well, was able to take the ball away from the England right back and put it out of play for what is the first corner, Paul. Yeah,
and again, another good piece of play from England, good passage of play, not overplaying, not too many passes, quite direct this time, over the top, not overplaying already. I mean, I know it's early in the game, but we see England so many times recycling possession and keeping possession for possession's sake. Actually, in the early stages, we're seeing possession with a real purpose, longer possession, cutting out 4, 5, 6 passes, playing the one direct ball over the top. So it is Declan Rice with the corner from the right. He's already had one attempt at a set piece, which was poorly delivered by his standards, but this the corner, and England players grouped around the penalty spot. 6 of them actually between the penalty spot and the edge of the 6-yard box. Rice curls it in, and it just takes a header away from Pavlovic out to the edge of the penalty area. Livramento was able to take up possession for England. Livramento wearing the number 16 as the left back. Then Elliot Anderson, short pass to Anthony Gordon. Elliot Anderson curls it in. That was cleared away, right foot volley away by Milenkovic. Still inside the Serbia penalty area. Anthony Gordon. England are all over Serbia here. And then again, Anderson does very well under pressure in a tight area. Livramento rolls it out to Anthony Gordon. Gordon looking to cross it, but that was blocked away towards the halfway line. Nevertheless, England come again with Elliot Anderson, and then Anthony Gordon, and back to the halfway line. Extremely impressive high press from England. The ball goes into the box from a Declan Rice corner, and then you can see when they lose possession or Serbia try and clear the ball, England have got it ringed. They've got like a circle around the Serbian defence. They're not letting get out. They're winning the ball back very quickly, and it's been an impressive start from England. Felix Myra might have scored the first goal for Norway, Paul, but Erling Haaland has scored the second, and they lead Moldova by 2-0. 0-0 here, but England with the ball on the halfway line, and with this high tempo start that England have made, here they come again. Declan Rice, Anthony Gordon dropping deep, Gordon then playing it into Kane near the penalty area. Kane back centrally to Elliot Anderson. Oh, and then a miscontrol from Madueke as the ball was played out to him by Elliot Anderson. Took his eye off the ball and miscontrolled it out of play for a throw-in. Serbia 0, England 0, 5 Live. Listen as well via the BBC Sounds app wherever you go to the live radio. And if you do that and listen to Sports Extra, you will hear what, Molly Stevens?
Well, Wales are lucky to have not conceded here, actually, John. Ismail Kone has just had a shot come off the post. No goals yet, but what an entertaining game in the early stages. Really open, free-flowing football. Wales 0, Canada 0. England in possession on the halfway line. A whole line of flags hanging rather limply on the top of the stand on the opposite side of the ground, above all of the graffiti. I don't think I've ever seen so much graffiti in and on and outside a football stadium. Ian Dennis did the famous walk down the tunnel yesterday here that the players embarked on tonight, and he'll tell you all about that later. But it's a feature here. Red Star Belgrade do it as well. They don't actually come and warm up on the pitch. They warm up on one of the pitches outside the stadium, so the first time you see them is when they come out of the famous tunnel.
England winning the ball back from Serbia on the halfway line. 12 minutes played, still 0-0. But the tempo's good as Rice goes back to Gay and then across to Ezri Konsa. Dan Burns sitting on the bench tonight with Ezri Konsa coming in. Reece James and Konsa exchange passes there, and then Elliot Anderson was telling me on Saturday night how nervous he was before he made his debut. You wouldn't have known it, would you, as Harry Kane is able to hold on to the ball, and I think someone in the stands blew a whistle there, not the referee. And now Madueke with the ball at his feet on the right hand side, 2 defenders in front of him, still Madueke. Ball comes to a stop actually at his feet. James back to Anderson, then across to Livramento to Anthony Gordon in a central position. England are being patient here, and Serbia are having to... Oh, that's given away, centre field by Elliot Anderson, given away to Vlahovic. Now it's being taken forward down the right hand side. Vlahovic though runs down a blind alley, and England are able to win it back, and that's a let off Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, that's a sloppy piece of play from Elliot Anderson. England in really good possession of the ball. He plays a blind ball, looks for Mark Gay in the middle of the park, gets there, Vlahovic intercepts it. Thankfully for Anderson it comes to nothing, but England really are in control of this game, and you can tell by the crowd noise. The atmosphere was excellent before the game, but approaching the 15-minute mark, they've quietened the crowd down already.
Well, Harry Kane, who's on the ball, he's been here. I was here that day to see Tottenham, Maurizio Pochettino's Tottenham win 4-0 here. They quietened the crowd that night, I can tell you. And Gordon and Livramento, again, this is all for England on the left-hand side. Gordon back to Harry Kane. Kane didn't score on that day, by the way, even though they won 4-0. James, right corner of the box. Madueke tries to give him it back, but Pavlovic is able to come across, and Serbia have got it back. And actually, was that an offside decision, or is that being given as a free kick on the edge of the area to Serbia? Also, when we saw Thomas Tuchel last night, Ian asked him if he'd been here before as a manager, and he said yes I have. I won 5-0 with PSG against Red Star Belgrade, but when Ian checked it this morning, we discovered actually it was 4-1, not 5-0. But nevertheless, a handsome victory. And at the moment, this England performance, very early on in the match, the only thing that is lacking is the goal to go with it.
I'll be really pleased, Thomas Tuchel, the way that his team have started. I mean, Serbia haven't really got the ball. This is the first time now they're having a spell of possession. They're recycling the ball, trying to just keep hold of the ball. England have started extremely well, pressing high, winning the ball back at a really high tempo.
Nedeljkovic, though, takes the ball in from the right-hand side. Serbia, for once, in possession inside the England half. Ivan Ilic goes back to the excellent Milenkovic. I know some of the regular Serbia watchers feel that for all of the praise that Mitrovic gets, Milenkovic is actually currently the most important player for them, the Nottingham Forest central defender. That's a risky pass to Nedeljkovic. He headed it straight into Livramento. That could have gone anywhere, but it's ended up back with Petrovic, the goalkeeper, who does a Pickford, hits a long pass over the halfway line. They're all at it, Paul.
Well, he spoke quite openly, Thomas Tuchel, didn't he? He said he wanted a high tempo, he wanted England to play with a passion, with a high possession, and he said about going long, said about the long throw-ins, set plays, the emphasis on the set plays, and we have seen that within the opening 15 minutes of this game.
The Fulham man Lukic sends a pass, a testing pass out towards the far side. Birmancevic was struggling to keep it in, and actually couldn't keep it in, and it's out of play as he tried to head it back into play. But that also a long pass from centre field from the Fulham man Lukic, but it's a throw-in for England.
The midfield's very congested at times. When you look at the way that Serbia have set up, when those wing-backs do push on into the midfield, they've got a 5-man midfield, and with Rice and Anderson, Madueke, Rodgers and Anthony Gordon, it can be quite congested, and that's when England have looked the best, when they've got the ball away from that congestion in the middle of the park and got it wide.
A little careless by England, losing possession from the throw-in, and Zivkovic has taken it on and forced the corner. Declan Rice went across there to close him down, and Zivkovic played it off him and out of play for a corner for Serbia. Serbia, who've got a very, very good home record. Corner is taken short and swung into the back post, and I think it took a little glance which took it out into the England left back position. Ivan Ilic Now centrally to Nedeljkovic, who hits the shot, but it's deflected, which carries it straight through to Pickford, all in yellow, who's able to drop forward under the ball.
Yeah, Nedeljkovic there, he was given quite a lot of time and space. A well-worked set play from Serbia. First real attempt on target from distance, didn't bother Jordan Pickford. Slight deflection in front of him. Harry Kane it was who went out to block the shot. Easy one for the England goalkeeper.
That's Paul Robinson, World Cup goalkeeper for England. Phil Jagielka is with us tonight as well, although he's back in the UK. We'll hear from him during the course of the evening. But Serbia 0, England 0 is the score with just over a quarter of an hour played. Madueke. Then back to the halfway line. What about the omission of Marcus Rashford and Eza tonight, Paul?
Well, he's shown that he's not afraid to make big decisions, Thomas Tuchel, hasn't he? When you look at what he's used the 29 players in the 5 games, rotation and personnel.
Here's James swinging the ball in from the right-hand side, but a stretch by Pavlovic heads it behind for another corner to England from the right flank. Romania now 2-0 up in Cyprus. So Cyprus 0, Romania 2. And the corner for England. Reece James and Declan Rice just have a word with one another as Rice carries the ball towards the corner flag, and also just makes 1 or 2 signals to his teammates in the middle. So again, Rice stands 1 foot in front of the other and prepares to deliver this corner, which comes in now towards the penalty spot, comes off a Serbia head, which clears the penalty area. Reece James, under pressure, tries to pass it back to Rice, and actually Serbia get there first and look to break away downfield. Long pass comes off the toe of Reece James, and Jordan Pickford comes out of his penalty area. England trying to play it away from the back, which they do effectively. It was slightly harum-scarum, and actually Declan Rice's misplaced pass puts it out for a throw to Serbia.
After initial calm piece of play there from Jordan Pickford, looks like Zivkovic was just about to nip in between him and Reece James. Jordan Pickford came out of his goal, he was quite decisive, interjected into the situation, played a simple ball to Reece James, but then in turn Declan Rice loses possession. Serbia, you feel, just growing in confidence.
Jordan Pickford, incidentally, Paul, going for his 7th clean sheet in a row, kept clean sheets in his last 6 England appearances, which would equal his own and Gordon Banks' record for clean sheets in consecutive appearances for England. I feel we're a long way off that yet.
Yeah, he's been excellent though, Jordan Pickford, hasn't he? What is he winning his 77th cap tonight? Yep. I think he's been an outstanding performer in England in major tournaments. You know, there's always been question marks on him, but you look at the way that he performed at Everton last season, 2nd in this clean sheets chart, I think 2nd or 3rd in a club that once again struggled to stay in the Premier League. I think he's been excellent at international level.
78th cap tonight that he's winning. 2nd most capped England goalkeeper after Peter Shilton. Long ball forward for Serbia, but James is able to chest it forward, and then James playing it back to Konza, who's inside the penalty area. Incidentally, one thing I mentioned on Saturday, I did say Dan Burn, that was the first yellow card that England had received during the campaign. In fact, Bellingham also received a yellow card, but just 2 yellows so far in the World Cup qualifying group. Pickford playing it to Reece James near the halfway line. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us. 20 minutes played now here on this dry, warm evening in Belgrade. Fantastic view from here as well. Darkness now, but you can see the magnificent cathedral on the hill with its green copper dome, white walls and the golden cross on top of it. It is quite a sight. Here is Livramento playing the ball back to Mark Gay, square from him to Konza, who will now step over the halfway line and roll the ball, just deliver it to the feet of Reece James. Hungary have taken the lead against Portugal. Hungary 1, Portugal 0. Hungary were the last team to beat Serbia here in this stadium 2 years ago, and they've had some very notable results since then as well. Livramento against some very decent teams. I mean, they've drawn 0-0 with Spain here. Gordon taking the ball down the left, turns, gives it back to Livramento. Livramento, a couple of touches from him. It's being forced away, so plays it all the way back towards the halfway line, and then Gay quickly is able to calmly play it across to Konza. And England continue to build as we approach the halfway point of the first half here. Madueke again running at 2 Serbian defenders. Reece James behind him. James with the cross to the back post. Rice with a header but couldn't get any power on it. It bounced down, and an easy take for Georgi Petrovic in the 6-yard box. So we are halfway through the first half here in the Rajko Mitic Stadium. Serbia 0, England 0. More from Paul Robinson, and then it'll be Ian Dennis.
Yeah, they've started really well, England, but you can feel Serbia just about growing in confidence coming into the game. The Serbia manager, Velithas, he's desperately trying to get that back five out. He's trying to get his team up the pitch, but England at times are in real good, comfortable possession, and I've been impressed with the way that they've started.
I think Thomas Tuchel, Paul, will be as well, because the England players have carried out his exact wish, which was to try to control the crowd by keeping the ball, and for that they have been very, very dominant for the first quarter of this game. It is 0-0. Serbia against England, a World Cup qualifier. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also on the BBC Sounds app. England are in all white. They're playing from right to left as Gordon makes a run forward, and Milinkovic will just hold him off as the goalkeeper. Petrovic of Bournemouth, of course, after signing that 5-year deal, picks it up for his 9th cap in the Serbian goal. But it's a different feel, I've got to say, to when you've been here in this stadium for a Champions League night. I was here 2018. Famous night, they beat Liverpool by 2-0. It was a frenzied atmosphere, I've got to say. It felt, in contrast, a lot more sedate, not much of a, not the same level of an edge with the national side. Although when they do get behind their side, as they now come forward over on that far side, they will raise their voices and can still create a real racket inside this bowl-like arena that holds just under 52,000, but as John has already said, 8,000 empty seats, a partial closure in the end next to the England fans away towards our right-hand side. As now here is Rice coming forward, and he just slows his run as he passes the ball in towards Harry Kane, the captain, who drops off into the centre circle. Gordon is in a central area, lays it out towards James, forward now to Madueke on the front foot. Madueke with a cross on the run, headed up by Milinkovic. Gordon is there, and then the ball is hooked goalwards, and it goes off target and out for a goal kick. So we'll get an update in that game at Swansea with Molly Stevens watching Wales-Canada.
Yeah, it's been a lively first 20 minutes or so, Ian. Things have settled a little bit more here now, though. Some good chances for Wales. Daniel James found space in the penalty area, but the Canada keeper was so close to save it. And another one where James crossed for David Brooks, but he missed the volley. For now, it's goalless.
Thank you, Molly. Commentary of that continues on Sports Extra. You can find that through the BBC Sounds app. And don't forget, more live football this weekend as the Premier League returns. Everton Aston Villa at 3. The usual goal service. Newcastle Wolves will be on Sports Extra, to be followed by West Ham against Tottenham at 5:30. And then on Sunday, Burnley against the leaders and the champions Liverpool, of course, at 2. And the Manchester derby, City against United, at 4:30. That's our weekend offering as Gordon into the penalty area shoots. Pushed away forcefully by Petrovic. It was around head height, as I think Zivkovic has gone down, and that'll be a free kick to Serbia. It was a direct strike right at the goalkeeper, Paul.
First real opportunity that England have had, first clear sight of goal for all the pressure, for the pressing that they've done excellently well. It was Anthony Gordon this time cutting in off the left hand side, as you would expect him to, just opened up in front of him, and he got a decent strike on the ball, but unfortunately for him and England it was straight at Petrovic. Easy one for the goalkeeper, but he made it look difficult, just put 2 palms on it, pushed it 25 yards away.
They've gone over 8 hours without conceding at home, have Serbia. You know, they have gone 2 years since they last tasted defeat, September 23 against Hungary. France 0, Iceland 1 is the latest score, and Albania are leading Latvia by 1-0 in England's Group K. And Albania only 2 points behind Serbia, and they meet here next month, and that's why the Serbian FA have been quite fearful really about fan behaviour, and they really have gone to great lengths to talk about making sure everybody is on their best behaviour, no more transgressions that we've seen in the past. Talk about that partial closure, because they are fearful that the game against Albania would then be played behind closed doors, and that's why there have been several messages and statements issued by all sorts of high-ranking officials in the Serbian FA to the supporters ahead of this game, as England get a free kick for a push on Gordon.
Well, thankfully we've had no incidents thus far in the game, but there is a pest in the crowd somewhere with a whistle. You keep hearing it every time that they think that Serbia should have a free kick. There's a real loud blast on a whistle from somewhere in the crowd, and it has affected the players on a number of occasions.
Also, the England players were having a green laser directed at them during the warm-up ahead of the game as Concert plays the ball to feet. Nice turn by Rodgers in towards Madueke, and it falls to Harry Kane, and he can't prod it goalwards. There was a lunge came in. Harry Kane saying it should have been a corner kick, as left-footed from close range. It just runs wide of the left-hand post. And once again, that whistle was evident, Paul, wasn't it?
Oh, at first glance, it looks like a real glaring miss from Harry Kane. Madueke again does brilliantly well down the right-hand side. He puts the ball across with his right foot. It's deflected into the path of Kane, and I think he's just put off by the diving Petrovic at his feet. 2 or 3 yards out, Harry Kane. You think all day long he's going to score. Goalkeeper does really well. He's right, Harry Kane. Goalkeeper gets a little block on it. It should have been a corner to England.
Well, he missed the chance to equal his own record of scoring in 6 successive games against Andorra at Villa Park on Saturday, and the England captain going close here in Belgrade, live on 5 Live, as we're approaching the half-hour mark. Gay in his own penalty area. Vlahovic presses Pickford. Anderson gives Pickford an out, and then the ball out from Gahey forward towards Rodgers. Rodgers looks for the run of Gordon down the middle. Here is Gordon, Madueke in support. Gordon will go alone, and Petrovic makes the save. Low down to his right, one-handed. Kept alive by Livramento. Back towards Harry Kane. England are creating openings. Ball forward towards James, back towards Harry Kane. Harry Kane goes down inside the D, and a direct free kick is awarded to England, and a yellow card is shown as well, and that was to Sasa Lukic. And the Fulham midfielder will now be suspended for their next World Cup qualifier against Albania, that crucial game. So Lukic will be suspended, and England now with a free kick in the D.
A really poor challenge there from Lukic. Harry Kane was just about to pull the trigger, got a clean sight to goal. England got a free kick right inside the D, 2 yards from the edge of the box, possibly too close, but there's a number of players standing over it debating who's going to take it. But this is on the back of yet again another good piece of build-up play from England. Anthony Gordon was through one-on-one with Petrovic, who made a really good save on a difficult angle for Gordon. He chose to take this shot on quite early, probably 15-16 yards out on the angle to the right of the goal. Petrovic dives to his right-hand side, makes a big save with his right hand. Came to nothing in the end, but once again England recycled possession, got the ball back into Harry Kane, and have worked this free kick.
Cyprus 1, Romania 2, so Cyprus have got a goal back. Now this free kick is slap bang in the centre of the D. Must be awkward for the goalkeeper, because you've got James, if he wants to go with his right foot, Madueke potentially with his left, and he's not going to get much of a sight of this, because every Serbian royal blue shirt is back in their penalty area.
You can't see. In this situation as a goalkeeper, you really are struggling to see. You've got to pick a gap through shirts, through 2 players, try and put your end man in the wall, trying to give it half an inch to see. Really difficult position for a goalkeeper.
England have got their own little wall of 3 inside the penalty area. Concer's going to join on that as well. In fact, no, he's just having a word in the ear of Harry Kane. So expect Harry Kane to move away. Either Reece James or Madueke. 0-0, 5 Live in Belgrade. It's James, fires it in, might fall towards Harry Kane. England are appealing for a penalty. That, of course, will be looked at by VAR. Comes out to the edge of the centre circle. Livramento to Gordon. Gordon now on this near side, the left. Tries to go on the outside of Ilic. His cross is delivered deep towards the far post. Headed away at the far post. Picked up by Madueke, though, for England, all in white. England, clearly this is the best performance in the early stages of the Thomas Tuchel reign. James now with a cross on the right, takes a deflection, and Petrovic has to dive down at his near post. Can't prevent it from going out for another England corner kick.
Good spell of pressure, good spell of possession from England, keeping the press on high, winning the ball back in the right areas. Just looking again at the Reece James free kick, very, very crowded penalty area. It does look like it strikes the hand of Maximovic in the middle of the penalty area. Referee deemed it was too close. There's too many bodies there in front of the goalkeeper. Difficult one for Reece James to get a shot on target with all those men in front of him.
Clément Turpin, the French referee, who is in a garish, luminous orange referee shirt and his black shorts, makes his way into the penalty area. Play. So VAR has clearly had a look at that penalty appeal for England and has dismissed it. Corner kick to be taken on that far side, the right. It will be an outswinger from Declan Rice. Serbia have every blue shirt back. In it comes now, and the goal is headed, and there is Harry Kane, the England captain, with a header that clipped the inside of the left-hand post. And Harry Kane, yet again, England's captain, with the opening goal, and it's a goal that is thoroughly deserved. Serbia 0, England 1. Harry Kane, 12 minutes before half-time.
And it's been coming. They've been banging on the door of England. Played extremely well. Really impressed with the way that England have approached this game. And it come from a set play over on the far side. It's an out-swinging corner from Declan Rice. There's a lot of Melio bodies in the middle of the 18-yard box. Brilliant delivery from Declan Rice. How Harry Kane is not picked up, I have no idea. 12 yards out in the middle of the goal. It's got the easiest of tasks. Puts his head on it, directs it into the bottom left-hand corner, in off the post. Wonderful start for England and a great headed goal from Harry Kane.
Milinkovic yesterday was saying in the press conference that we're not going to follow Harry Kane if he drops deep. We'll just leave him. But I can't believe that nobody has picked him up inside that penalty area.
Completely left him, didn't he? I mean, that's taking it to extremes. I mean, a player and a man of his calibre and his goal-scoring prowess isn't marked from corners. We understand how you mark zones, etc., but you mark the centre forward, you mark the danger man. Harry Kane had the freedom of the penalty area, but listen, it's still a great header. He had to stoop, he got power behind the ball, 12 yards out, directed it inside the post. Really good headed finish.
Something like just over 8 hours and 20 minutes of football for the first time now they've conceded at home since Despodov scored for Bulgaria in a 2-2 draw in November 2023. And they've had some notable results during that period as well. In the Nations League, in the top league, incidentally, they held Denmark and Spain to goalless draws at home. They beat Switzerland 2-0. So some good opposition have come to Serbia and have not been able to breach that Serbian back line. But England have played well. They've dominated. And from a set piece, Harry Kane, with what is his 65th goal in his 81st game as England's captain.
He took it really well as well, didn't he? Just looking at the replays again, his movement was minimal in the 18-yard box. He didn't have to do a lot. It was a really, really good delivery from Declan Rice. Had pace, it had bend on it, found the England skipper. Good header, tucked it away inside the left-hand post. And no more than England deserved because they have been the better team.
So that's his record as a captain, but it's 74 goals now in 109 as the ball is flicked forward by Rodgers and Madueke with acceleration into the penalty area. What a goal by Noni Madueke! It's his first for his country, and he will remember that for many a year because he latched onto the flick by Rodgers. He attacked the Serbian defence with pace and a nonchalant finish, and England have scored 2 goals in no time. Serbia 0, England 2.
And the England manager up and down the touchline underneath us. He's absolutely delighted, and rightly so. Once again, it's a quick change over a possession. It's Morgan Rodgers in the middle of the park. It's a deft touch round the corner, outside of his right boot, into the path of the on-rushing Madueke, who, by the way, has still got a lot to do. He cuts in on his left foot, he runs in front of the defender, so he knows that he can't be touched. Goalkeeper Petrovic comes rushing out to close the angle down, and it's such a cool finish from Madueke. Just lifts it over the on-rushing goalkeeper, and this is better from England. This is what we've wanted to see. A really good performance.
They did say, didn't they, yesterday, that because we might see a true version of ourselves. You know, they've been criticised, it's been underwhelming, but they are certainly putting in an excellent performance. I can see that green laser pen being directed once again at some of the England players on the pitch as it was flashing away on that left-hand side. But 2 goals in rapid-fire time and England in full control.
He's been a real threat, Madueke, ever since the game started down that right-hand side. And it was Morgan Rodgers. On a number of occasions he's put Anthony Gordon in twice, and it was the same type of touch from him, the outside of his right boot, the tiniest of touches that took the midfielder out of play. Madueke rushed onto it, and it was a really, really good finish.
Erling Haaland is on the score sheet again as Norway now lead Moldova by 3-0. First visit to Belgrade since Serbia became an independent nation in 2006. Their last visit 38 years ago actually produced England's first ever win in Belgrade in 6 attempts. Peter Beardsley, John Barnes, Brian Robson and Tony Adams were on the score sheet in a handsome 4-1 win. And England leading 2-0 with 7 minutes to go to half-time, live on 5 Live. And Serbia haven't really posed much of a danger to Jordan Pickford, as Portugal have equalised. Hungary won, Portugal won. Bernardo Silva has got that goal. Earlier in Group F, Armenia beat the Republic of Ireland by 2-1. Ball clipped in by Vlahovic on this near side, the right, and it goes straight through towards Jordan Pickford. Once again, that laser pen is just flashing at the feet of Jordan Pickford, all in yellow, as he bides his time. You might recall in the opening game at Euro 2024, Serbia wore red. This season they have changed to the royal blue. It's historically a significant colour for Serbia, key colour in the flag. It's associated with freedom, faith and the sky. But now I think that eye, the laser pen has gone in the eye of Ezri Konsa, and the referee has come across to have a word with the fourth official, Stephanie Frappart.
He immediately stopped Konsa. Jordan Pickford rolled the ball out to him midway through the England half, and immediately Konsa just stopped, and you could see the flash on his shirt, put his hand to his eyes, and it's been a problem the whole first half. We said about the whistle that's been there, the laser pen. It was a clear green laser pen. It must have flashed right in Konsa's eye. He immediately stopped, held his face. Referee, as you say, came over to this near touchline and reported it to the fourth official.
Well, Branko Radojkovic, who's the Secretary General of the Serbian FA, did say, yes, in the match programme, every inappropriate reaction, insult or incident could cost us dearly. He wants the supporters to be loud and dignified. He wants it to be a source of strength, not a risk for the national side. It'll be interesting to see what happens regarding that, because that has clearly been brought to the attention of the referee as the ball goes long up towards Rodgers, who certainly played his part in that second goal with that deft little flick into the path of Madueke. Harry Kane volleys the ball forward. It reaches Gordon. Then he brings down Nedeljkovic, and there is no... Oh yes, there is going to be a yellow card shown to the Newcastle player. So the first England player is booked, Anthony Gordon, here tonight. We've got 5 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, they've been really impressive, England, haven't they? I mean, you can't give them enough praise for what Thomas Tuchel has said. I like the way that they've mixed it up. Yes, they've gone long. They showed their intentions immediately from the kick-off when Jordan Pickford launched it into the Serbia penalty box direct from the kick-off. And during the game, they've got players wide, they've stretched the pitch, they've pressed high, the tempo's been excellent, and there's been a real mixture of keeping possession in good areas and also going long and more direct and causing problems.
Milinkovic hammers the ball away downfield. James, though, was there. He was actually applauded for being so alert by Thomas Tuchel. Livramento has his heels clipped. He tumbles over, lands rather awkwardly. England get a free kick just over the halfway line as they play from right to left as we look. 4.5 minutes to go to the break. And the 2,500 England supporters are in good voice, as I would imagine that is the Tannoy announcement saying about the green laser pen.
How's your Serbian? Is your Serbian not up to scratch? No, the translation. Yes. I think it is absolutely right. It was greeted with a chorus of boos from the home section, so you can only presume that that's indeed what it was.
Also, Slobodan from BBC Serbia is still with us. He says there's pyros as well, that they're actually asking them not to use those too inside the ground. So other than that, Paul, my Serbian's spot on.
It was a good guess.
Gordon to James and Madueke not quite on the same wavelength. Move breaks down on that far side behind it, goes for a goal kick. England still lead then 2-0, and Molly Stevens watching Wales-Canada.
Yeah, where Canada have broken the deadlock, Ian. Derek Cornelius with a stunning free kick, which Adam Davies just couldn't get a hand to. It nestles into the top right-hand corner. It's Wales 0, Canada 1.
Thank you, Molly. Sports Extra for that. In fact, Wales will be England's next opponents because they play a friendly in early October before travelling to Latvia, as they will continue their World Cup qualifying campaign as they're looking for a 5th straight win. Still yet to concede, remember. Here is Zivkovic, picks the ball up, gets it in low. Referee has, I think, already blown his whistle for a free kick. It was an offside. Flags up England free kick inside the penalty area.
Does really well there as Konsa initially slipped, lost his footing, but managed to close the gap between him and Zivkovic. England back four. They've done well. They've protected Jordan Pickford's goal as well as contributing to the forward play. It's been a good performance all round from England.
Well, with Albania leading, England 2-0 up. They'll be going 7 points clear at the top of Group A. Erling Haaland has scored a hat-trick, a first-half hat-trick, as now Norway lead Moldova by 4-0. Pickford then with a goal kick, all in yellow. 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 Live. This time next week, the Champions League is back. We will have 3 successive nights for you of Europe's elite competition. We'll be live in Bilbao, London, Bayern, Munich and Newcastle United for 4 commentaries on 5 Live on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday of next week. 2-0 then to England. Back it goes to Pickford. But they've had an element of control from the first whistle.
They've been really impressive. You can't heap enough praise on them. Everything we spoke about before the game that we haven't seen and what Thomas Tuchel said that he wanted from his side, they've delivered. You know, they've gone out here tonight with the manager's words ringing in their ears, the tactical approach, what he said about going slightly longer, and they've done that and they've done it effectively. They've played in the right areas and there's been a real good mixture. The test now for this team is, where do they go? Do they go on and score more goals? Do they try and see the game out? From an England fan's point of view, the way that they've played, you now want to see them press on and go and get more goals and keep doing what they're doing. Don't create their own problems.
Livramento looks comfortable, doesn't he? The Newcastle defender.
Yeah, I mean, me and John saw him at the weekend, Newcastle Leeds last weekend, and I thought he was brilliant down the left-hand side. A lot when he played even higher, advanced. Newcastle had like a hybrid back 4, back 5, and Livramento was the one that was allowed to push on. And obviously with Lewis Skelly not being on the plane and not making the squad, it's an opportunity for Livramento this evening.
Only his second start, just his third cap for Tino Livramento. Rice slows it down. Anderson, Harry Kane again drops off. Konsa will play the ball across to Gehi, playing on the left-hand side of that central defensive partnership with Ezri Konsa, one of 4 changes that Thomas Tuchel made inside the last 60 seconds of normal time. And England, through a Harry Kane header and Noddy Madueka's first goal for England, are leading by 2-0. As almost coming to a standstill is Konsa, just plays the ball out towards Declan Rice. James is ahead of him, and then that ball has been stubbed wide by Reece James. It'll go out for a Serbia throw. With the exception of possibly an Anderson mistake, it has been almost error-free from England.
The only time that England have looked in any danger was through their own doing. As you say, Anderson giving away possession in a dangerous area, a couple of sloppy misplaced passes, but other than that, it has been an error-free performance.
And Rice charging through the midfield, pressing as the ball goes back towards Jordi Petrovic, the Bournemouth goalkeeper. 1 minute of added on time that we are being played now for that additional period here in Belgrade. And England will be going in at half-time by 2-0. And when they took the lead against Senegal in June, and it's the only defeat in 47 games where they've scored first and lost, going all the way back to 2019. And it's a rout in Norway. Norway 5, Moldova 0. Martin Ødegaard in injury time has got that latest goal. Milinkovic of Nottingham Forest, the Serbian captain, coming forward, carrying the ball into the England half. Zivkovic is able to turn along the ground. This is Vlahovic. Can he get the shot away? He can. It was a dipping effort, left-footed, off-target, goal kick. England 2-0.
Yeah, Morgan Rogers did well there. Tracked back, helped his defenders out. Tracked Vlahovic all the way back. 5 yards outside the edge of the box. Couldn't really get a clean shot on Jordan Pickford's goal. And that's the only real attempt that they've had, Serbia. A really impressive first half from England.
And that was the last bit of action as well, because that Vlahovic effort, there was no time to take the goal kick. The half-time whistle has sounded, and England are taking a significant stride towards the World Cup next summer, because for what was billed as the toughest test in Group K, well, they are making it look very, very comfortable indeed, because a goal from Harry Kane followed up by Madueka's shot on the run, and England will head back down that long tunnel, all 240 metres of it, in a very, very good place indeed. The Serbia supporters are not happy. They are disgruntled. You can hear that in the background, because the half-time score in Belgrade is Serbia 0, England 2. Kelly.
Thank you very much to Ian Dennis, Paul Robinson and John Murray watching on in Belgrade. Also with us, former England defender Phil Jagielka. Phil, is that closer to what England fans have been asking for?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first 20 minutes they were sort of feeling it out, but after that there's only been one team looking to score the goals, and thankfully the captain came up with a header. Then after that we've played some decent football, and fantastic flowing move for the second, and hopefully if Serbia potentially come out a little bit to try and get back in the game, we can hopefully get some more goals.
Yeah, Harry Kane on the score sheet again. Normal service resumed after not scoring against Andorra.
Yeah, it was ages, wasn't it, he'd not scored for?
It's a drought.
Yeah, okay. I had plenty of them. I didn't score very many, so I had about 3-year droughts.
Yeah, well, to be fair, you weren't England's number 9.
That wasn't the job, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But look, it was a goal for Harry Kane, and then Noni Madueke with that pace down the right. I mean, he'd been causing trouble for Serbia certainly from that half an hour point where England really seemed to kick into gear.
Yeah, I think this camp, he's the one that's probably shone the brightest. He's took his chance, a bit similar to obviously getting his chance as well at Arsenal on the right, obviously, because Saka's not available, and he's taken the chance with both hands. He's been arguably our best player for 3 halves of football so far that he's got to play in. But we spoke before the game about when do you give people opportunities and sort of experience to play for your country. We look at obviously the second goal. We've got Anderson who plays it to Rodgers, who flicks it around the corner to Madueke. So again, the under 21 connection there, you could see even the celebrations, they were all thanking each other, big smiles, and everyone's happy. So that's when it does work, giving opportunities to younger players to see how they deal with these atmospheres, and those 3 in particular have done well tonight.
Lee on social media says, to be fair, this is the best I've seen England under Tuchel, but it's like saying this is the best I've seen Sheffield United under Sellers.
Wow, he's not having a great time of it, to be perfectly honest.
I thought you might enjoy that one, that was all.
Yeah.
But look,
well, I'm not,
Lisa's
because we've lost every game, so I've
well,
not
no,
enjoyed that
but
one.
I thought you might enjoy the comment rather than than the season so far. But Lisa says, fair play to Madueke, taking his chances. Elliot Anderson looks exceptional, much improved. There was the error, which only stands out because it was probably the only error that England made in that first half. But other than that, what have you made of
what I like about it, though, is the way he reacted.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, and he's making a mistake on the biggest stage he's probably played in, and he's not obviously got into his shell. He gets the ball again, gets on it, helps create some chances.
Yeah, and he's doing well in that first half. And England have looked good as they move into the second half. As you said, Serbia are going to have to go for it a bit more in the second half. Opportunities will open up for England. Do you think we'll start to see Thomas Tuchel make changes? Is he still looking at that setup?
I think I'm not the honest answer. I don't know. I think if they're still on top and they can look like they could potentially get a couple more goals, I think he'll quite like the feeling of potentially after the game selling the dream that things are coming along nicely, and we're scoring more goals and creating more. Whereas obviously if you start to make substitutions, sometimes it can slow the pace of the game down and change things around. So as much as he potentially would like probably to see a few more different faces, I think if the game's going the way it is, especially the second half of the first half, if that translates into the first bit of the second half, he'll probably stay as he is, and hopefully England get on top.
Yeah, and he'll probably tell us that he doesn't listen to the critics, but that doesn't mean he doesn't want to answer them. Phil, thank you very much. We'll be talking to you a bit later on. So it's Serbia 0, England 2 at half-time. Wales have got a friendly against Canada. Molly Stevens is watching that one. Hey, Molly.
Hello there. Yeah, Wales 0, Canada 1 after a thoroughly entertaining half of football. A goal that the Canadians deserved, I have to say. Derek Cornelius broke the deadlock with a stunning free kick some 30 yards out. They'd hit the post and the bar before that centre-half got off the ball. He was absolutely phenomenal. 6 yellow cards have been handed out so far, including for the Canada boss, Jesse Marsh. That'll tell some story to the needle and intensity this game has had, despite being a friendly. Wales have done well with some good chances for David Brooks and Dan James, but Canada have just been relentless. High pressing, high energy football. Craig Bellamy will need to find a way to limit that in the second half. Wales 0, Canada 1.
Molly, thank you very much for that. Coming up, we're going to bring you second half commentary of Serbia against England, and we've got a little taster from the latest Women's Football Weekly podcast. That's after the news on 5 Live with Nick Hatfield.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Kelly. Good evening. The White House says President Trump feels very badly about the location of Israel's strike against Hamas leaders in the Qatari capital Doha. Qatar has mediated indirect negotiations over a ceasefire in Gaza. Hamas says 6 people were killed in the attack, and Qatar has called it a blatant violation of international law. The White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt spoke earlier.
Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal.
Well, Israel says it conducted a precise strike and those targeted are directly responsible for the October 7th attacks. Nicholas Hopton is a former UK ambassador to Qatar.
It raises a lot of questions, not least what this means for the future of the negotiations, if there is no longer a Hamas leadership with which to negotiate. It also raises large questions about what this means for the Gulf in general, but particularly for Qatar, who is allied closely with the United States, with Britain and France.
Sir Keir Starmer is to hold talks with the Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Downing Street tomorrow. Number 10 says the Prime Minister will raise the situation in Gaza. Elsewhere, 6 Labour MPs have put themselves forward to become the party's next deputy leader. They include the former Cabinet Minister Lucy Powell, the Communities Minister Alison McGovern and the Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson. A 57-year-old man's been arrested after tear gas was brought into Heathrow Airport. The incident saw Terminal 4 evacuated yesterday evening. And the former MasterChef presenter Greg Wallace is taking legal action against the BBC over a data protection claim. The case has been filed at the High Court. Greg Wallace was sacked in July after a report upheld more than 40 allegations about his conduct on MasterChef, after which he said none of the serious allegations were upheld, but that he was also deeply sorry for any distress caused.
I was the only woman who's ever been charged with gangland murder in British history.
This is the story of Britain's most notorious female gangster, the Black Widow.
She's like a Black Widow spider, because every bloke she's ever had dealings with is either dead or in prison.
It's a tale of love and retribution.
She has delivered the fatal shot.
Told by those who were there.
Literally is one of those stories that can only be true, because if you made it up, nobody would believe it.
Gangster, the story of the Black Widow. Listen first on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
It's Serbia 0, England 2 at half-time in Belgrade. We'll be back there for that World Cup qualifier, the second half due to get underway in just a few minutes' time. In the meantime, there's a couple of cricket lines to bring you. England captain Ben Stokes is back in training with Durham. Their head coach Ryan Campbell says he's confident that Stokes will be fit to play in the Ashes. Sam Curran has been recalled to England's T20 side for the first match of the series against South Africa in Cardiff tomorrow. It's the first time the all-rounder will feature under head coach Brendan McCullum. His last appearance was in November 2024. TMS will bring you live ball-by-ball commentary on Sports Extra from 6:15. The latest Women's Football Weekly podcast is out now on its brand new feed. So let's hear Ben Haynes, Ellen White and Tom Gary talking about Arsenal's 4-1 win over newly promoted London City Lionesses.
They brought on Caitlin Ford, Stina Blackstenius, Frida Marnham and Beth Mead. And they would probably get into, I would say, a lot of WSL teams starting 11. So that strength in depth is something that maybe they didn't have last season. So if they were able to keep everyone fit, that would go a long way for them fighting for the title and a lot of major trophies. But yeah, you've got to give credit to Beth Mead. Obviously, she would have been disappointed not to have started the game, but showing her mentality to come on and have 2 assists in 2 minutes, her impact, her professionalism, and obviously her quality as well. Because both of those goals, she could have gone herself actually and had a strike, maybe could have scored, but she did quite a lot of chopping and then just some lovely crosses into the ball, especially the kind of dinked one back post to Frida Marnham's header. But yeah, credit to her with her mentality, also showcasing that she is a key player for Arsenal, and like you say, quieting those rumours that she is going to leave, because she does love Arsenal.
Ellen, can you just take us back a little bit? You mentioned earlier on about the feeling in the ground. So it was 38,000 at the Emirates on Saturday. What was the atmosphere like, and how did it compare to last season, for example?
Yeah, I thought the atmosphere was great. I think they told everyone to get in their seats because they were doing a kind of farewell to Leah Volti. And then Leah Williamson walked out with the European trophy, Champions League trophy, and that really got the place kind of rocking. It was an amazing atmosphere. Even when London City Lionesses went 1-0 up, you could still feel the crowd. They were still singing, they were still willing the team on, and then it absolutely erupted, obviously, when Olivia Smith scored. And also, I want to give credit as well to Arsenal. They've sold 17,000 season tickets, which is a phenomenal amount of tickets to be sold for them to have every home game at the Emirates. So that blueprint of what they're doing for their fan base is quite extraordinary. And hopefully more teams are able to kind of look at that and think, how can we grow our fan base, get bums on seat, get people supporting our club, not just in the WSL, but the whole football pyramid, because that's important. We need the teams to be supported.
That's some going, Tom, isn't it? To shift 17,000 season tickets.
Yeah, that number alone is 10 times the figure that were at the game that you and I saw on Sunday between Tottenham and West Ham. And, the attendance on Saturday was 20 times that of some of the other WSL games. They're kind of operating in a different, stratosphere to the other WSL clubs with the numbers that they're attracting. There's a big gulf there, not just in terms of the audience, but in terms of the match day revenues that is going to generate. So if other teams aren't careful, then Arsenal are just going to carry on getting further and further ahead, because the more match day revenue they get, the more times they'll be able to spend £1 million on a superstar like Olivia Smith. So it's something that I think all the other clubs are going to be looking at. And from all we hear at Arsenal, the crowd we saw on Saturday is probably looking like it's going to be about the average for the season. They're sort of expecting that pretty much, give or take, that every week now for the campaign, and that's going to be really formidable as just adding the footballing context, as as a home support and what that could do for their home record over the course of a season. That's something that will really be dangerous for the visiting sides to contend with over the course of the campaign, as it starts to feel more and more like home for the women's players as well. Because I think if we go back maybe 3 years, it was unfamiliar still for some of the Arsenal women's players, and now it will start to have those home comforts.
On Friday night, Tom and I were down at Stamford Bridge to see Chelsea Man City, and a good atmosphere there. Probably not the same numbers, Tom, but a good atmosphere at Stamford Bridge. A really impressive and professional performance from Chelsea as they ran out 2-1 winners over City.
Yeah, it was one of those games we've seen so many of from Chelsea where I don't think they ever showed their absolute best football. I don't think they ever really played more than maybe 7 or 8 out of 10. But they've still managed to win a really important game, being clinical in the key moments, defending the box when they needed to, taking their chance. I think they had 3 shots on target and scored twice, which is very Chelsea in terms of the efficiency.
That was just a snippet of Women's Football Weekly. Ben Haynes, Ellen White and Tom Gary were on there. You can listen to it on BBC Sounds right now. Our focus this evening is on the England men's qualification campaign for the World Cup next summer. They're currently 2-0 up against Serbia. In the other group, in Group K, which is England's group, Albania are beating Latvia 1-0 at half-time. So if it stays like this, England will be 7 points clear of Albania, 8 ahead of Serbia, who have a game in hand. And if England do go on to win this game in Belgrade this evening, they'd only need 5 more points from their last 3 matches to secure a place in the World Cup next summer. And yet, Phil, people are still not happy.
Well, that's what we're like, aren't we? We want to go out there as a nation and go and dominate every game and win. So hopefully there's a big second half coming and there'll be a few more smiley faces tonight and tomorrow morning.
So goals so far for Harry Kane and Noni Madueke for England. Second half coming up from Belgrade with Paul Robinson and Ian Dennis. And first of all, John Murray.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Yes, we're still waiting for the teams to emerge from that famous tunnel here. Many of the England substitutes are out. Paul Robinson sitting next to me. And what a half that was for England. As Ian rightly said, the best half that Thomas Tuchel has had as the England manager so far in his 6th match.
Bar none. They were excellent. I think they're everything that we've wanted to see from England. Yes, they've been underwhelming in previous games, but I think he spoke quite openly about this game being a tough test. He thought that it'd be a better game for them because Serbia would actually come out and play and try and expose England but actually England have done really well to move the ball quickly, and Serbia have sat in a low block at times. But the link-up play that England have showed, the intensity, the thing that's impressed me. They've pressed really high up the pitch, the understanding between Reece James and Madueke down the right-hand side. Most of England's threat has come down that right-hand side, and everything that Thomas Tuchel spoke about before this game, we are seeing.
Teams are out there. It looks as though Dragan Stojkovic is going to make a couple of changes at half-time. I'm not surprised at that. They've been a long way second best in this match, and Slobodan, our colleague from the BBC Serbian service, was telling us that many of the supporters were chanting "Pixie out" at half-time. So he might be one of the great heroes of Serbian football, but there seems to be a mood against him here inside the stadium. So we're going to see Filip Kostic, who is left winger, can play at wing back, plays for Juventus, and also Luka Jovic coming on, the number 8, who was one of the brightest young stars, if you remember, when he came through at Red Star Belgrade. He made his debut. He was their youngest player at one stage, ended up getting a move to Real Madrid, who paid 60 million euros for him, but his career has kind of tailed off since then, and he's just moved, Luka Jovic, to AEK Athens. So Kostic and Jovic are on for Nedeljkovic and Birmančević. So the two wing-backs actually have been taken off. Second half begins. Serbia 0, England 2. And Serbia win an early free kick halfway inside the England half. Morgan Rogers, who I thought was very good in the first half, one of the 4 changes that Thomas Tuchel made, set up the Madueke goal brilliantly. But they've won themselves a set piece here, Paul. Yeah, surprised that Kostic and Jovic didn't actually start the game. They started their previous game against Latvia on Saturday in a 1-0 win, and those two were surprise omissions from the starting 11. I think Jovic will go and play up alongside Vlahovic, try and have more of an attacking threat, and Kostic will play in the wing-back position. So this free kick, and it will be taken by Filip Kostic, the Juventus man. Might remember he was injured against England at the Euros and had to go off with a knee injury. He curls this ball in, and it's headed away for England and then played away to the halfway line, and Anderson chasing it, and it was a sort of 50-50 challenge. He was caught by his clubmate Milenkovic, actually. The Serbian captain, his Nottingham Forest teammate, has put a challenge in on Elliot Anderson as he was breaking away. That's classic international football, isn't it? No love lost between the clubmates. No, coming together in a real good 50-50 challenge. He was there first, Milenkovic. Elliot Anderson just went over the challenge, but as you can see, and here, the supporters inside this stadium weren't too happy that the referee stopped the game. They felt that the game should have been allowed to have carried on. It wasn't a head injury. No, and the referee stopped play, and he has restarted play with a drop ball, Clement Turpin. So Serbia 0, England 2. So the changes being made by Dragan Stojkovic means that the Serbia team, and they've got the ball at the back just at the moment, playing it long to the halfway line, and now Mark Gay is having to Ezri Konsa has to stand up strongly there under the challenge, and he's able to come out with the ball and give it to Elliot Anderson. So Petrovic is the goalkeeper, has been beaten twice, the Bournemouth man, and the second of them by his former Chelsea teammate Noni Madueke, as Serbia looking to improve their efforts in the second half. This is better from them. Ilic, though, he's challenged by Livramento. Good challenge, it leaves Ilic on the ground, and England look to play it out from the back, although they've lost possession in the left full-back position. Ball comes into the middle, but Mark Gay is there to stretch forward and head it. Livramento takes it down, he passes it forward to Harry Kane, who drives a long pass, which is asking a lot of Noni Madueke. He's going to do well to reach this. He does reach it, actually. Defender goes there with him, and the two of them, Pavlovic in the end is able to get to the ball, out physical Madueke, and wins a throw-in for Serbia halfway inside his own half. Yes, so the Serbia team, Petrovic in goal, Irakovic, Milenkovic and Pavlovic are the three central defenders. Zivkovic now as the right wing back as England attack with Madueke. Rogers ball across, Rice in the D, controls and shoots wide. a sort of bubbling shot, a bouncing shot that he pulled wide of the left post as he looked at it.
Yeah, good opportunity for Declan Rice there early in this second half. Again, it's England's threat down this right-hand side. Madueke works the ball into Rodgers, who in turn finds Declan Rice. He's got all the time in the world on the edge of the box. He's able to get the ball out of his feet, and he just drags the shot wide. He's disappointed.
So Serbia with the goal kick. As I say, Zivkovic now the right wing back, Ilic, Lukic of Fulham and Maksimovic in the central area. Substitute Kostic on the left, and then Jovic and Vlahovic. Alexander Mitrovic remains on the bench. And the England team, if you weren't listening earlier, the England team that Thomas Tuchel picked tonight, 4 changes from Saturday. So Pickford in goal, James, Konza, Gay and Livramento. Then Elliot Anderson with Morgan Rogers and Declan Rice in the midfield. And Madueke on the right, Gordon on the left. And Harry Kane up front, who scored his 74th goal for England on his 109th appearance. So Harry Kane now in 5th place on his own on the list of England appearances. And England playing the ball out from the edge of their own penalty area. Reece James going back to goalkeeper Pickford, who goes long. Erling Haaland has just scored his 4th goal of the night. So Norway 6-0 up on Moldova after that dramatic win for Italy last night against Israel. But Norway have won all of their matches so far in that group, and the final match in that section is Italy against Norway. England with this scoreline are heading for 5 wins out of 5 at the top of Group K. And Madueke with the ball on the right hand side, just little pass to Reece James. Now Elliot Anderson, who's been very tidy really. I know we've spoken about the mistake that he made in the first half, but other than that, out to the left hand side it goes with Declan Rice. Rice back in field towards Elliot Anderson, square from him to James, who's 30 yards out. Serbia all in blue, 10 men behind the ball, as Madueke now attacks again against Kostic, pulls it back to the edge of the area to James. He tees up Rice with a shot that's blocked inside the penalty area by Milenkovic, and Serbia try to bring it away, but England are all over them, Paul.
He's done so well, Noni Madueke, down this right hand side. Again, this is where the threat comes from. Pulls the ball back to Reece James, and he lays it across the edge of the 18-yard box for Declan Rice to strike first time. And we know what a good right foot Declan Rice has got. That's the last 2 chances that he hasn't got right.
And now Declan Rice wins a free kick for England, left of centre. So another set piece for England. Incidentally, France have equalised now against Iceland, and it was Kylian Mbappe who made it 1-1 in that match that's been played in the Parc des Princes actually this evening. Kylian Mbappe was one of the goal scorers, by the way, when Thomas Tuchel's PSG won 4-1 here in that match we were talking about in the first half. 2-0 to England, free kick taken short, and then it's driven in from the left-hand side. Madueke with a touch, Kane, and then it's scored on the dead ball line almost, and it's Ezri Konsa who's there to score his first goal for England, virtually standing next to the post. It fell to him and he swept it in and turned away and went off to celebrate his first goal for England, the Aston Villa central defender. And surely that's it now here tonight. 3 goals for England and 3 points in Belgrade. Serbia 0, England 3.
Yeah, the England fans away to our right are absolutely delighted. They've picked up where they left off in the first half. England started on the front foot, had a really good 2 or 3 passages of play. This time it's a quick, short free kick played into Anthony Gordon, 25 yards from goal. It's a difficult one for Petrovic to deal with. It bounces just in front of the Serbian goalkeeper, gets 2 hands on it, but all he can do is push it into a crowd of England players. Gay is who gets there first, deflects across the box. You think Harry Kane's going to put it in, but there's Ezri Konsa with his left foot to surely give England all 3 points and to top off what's already been a wonderful performance.
So Ezri Konsa, as it's announced on the loudspeaker, and you might have heard there as well, I don't think you had to be an expert in Serbo-Croat to work out that was the loudest chorus of Pixie Out that we've heard so far. So in fact, looking down now, there is a bit of movement there. I think 1 or 2 are beginning to head towards the exits, and there is a possibility that goal might be ruled out. There is a suggestion that there could be an offside.
Yeah, VAR taking a check now. Match hasn't restarted.
Is over, and the goal stands. Confirmed. Serbia 0, England 3, and Ezri Konsa scoring the third goal. Ezri Konsa winning his 14th cap here in Belgrade tonight. Harry Kane drags the ball back, but actually is dispossessed. And now Luka Jovic will carry the ball long and forward, but in comes the challenge from James. It's a foul, and it's a free kick to Serbia. Let's get another update from Swansea and Molly Stevens.
Wales 0, Canada 1. Wales have had the best chance of this second half so far. A powerful header from captain Ben Davies into Harry Wilson on his left, who looked to score on the volley, but Canada's defenders did very well to clear it. It remains Wales 0, Canada 1.
Bosnia and Herzegovina 0, Austria 1 in Group H, and they are the top two in that group. So Austria, Ralph Rangnick's Austria winning. Free kick then, Kostic plays it into the England penalty area. It took a flick off an England head, and that is being very strongly disputed. It's been given as a corner by Clement Turpin, but it's a corner to Serbia.
Yeah, the England players are absolutely adamant that it wasn't a corner, but they're going to have to defend. As you can hear now, the noise in the stadium has been completely nullified. I mean, it was an electric atmosphere before the game. As you can see as well, there's a few that are wandering towards the exits already. They're certainly not happy at the moment.
Corner to Serbia, 3-0 down. Deep one right across the penalty area, which is actually headed back by Morgan Rogers to Jordan Pickford. I'm not sure whether he entirely meant that.
No, I don't think he did. I think it was a very brave header back to his goalkeeper in that situation. If he did, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Good piece of defending.
That's Paul Robinson, England goalkeeper. Another old stager has scored for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Edin Dzeko has equalised. So Austria went 1-0 up. Bosnia and Herzegovina have promptly equalised. And earlier in this group, by the way, Albania were winning 1-0 against Latvia, as far as I'm aware. That's still the score. Harry Kane in a deep lying position, curls the ball into the box. Anthony Gordon takes it down. It was Gordon's shot that actually led eventually to the Konsa goal to make it 3-0. The ball, as he's challenged, bounces out of play, and that is given as a Serbia throw. 10 minutes played in the second half. We will be on air, by the way, to hear the reaction from Thomas Tuchel and whoever else we are presented with. So you will hear that on 5 Live tonight. We've got to go a long way away behind the stadium to my left. I've got to actually walk down the street about 200 yards and then turn right into the training ground, and they're eventually going to bring them to us in what must be the most remote interview position that I think I've ever been to.
Have you heard what they're doing with Thomas Tuchel after you've interviewed him to bring him to the press conference?
I have. They're going to bring him in a car from there to actually do his press conference. We've got a stoppage now, by the way. The Serbian player who challenged Anthony Gordon has stayed down, so he's going to need a little bit of treatment. He did actually used to have a smart car, you know, when he was Chelsea manager. He used to tootle into Chelsea's training ground in a smart car, so he might be back in the smart car tonight. Also outside the ground, I saw some of the most fearsome police stroke security stroke army personnel I think I've ever seen at a football ground. I mean, full riot gear, armour, and you've just picked them out in the some of them in the stands there in the empty seats, the 8,100 seats that are empty, that because of the reduced capacity here tonight. This is a lengthy stoppage actually. It's Zivkovic.
Just catches a stray arm from Anthony Gordon. Both players chasing for the ball in the corner. I think there's no intent there from Anthony Gordon at all, but what it does do, it allows Thomas Tuchel to get his players over to the touchline, like we see quite often. The managers use these times for almost like a basketball timeout. All the players are stood down beneath us, Thomas Tuchel talking to them individually and taking an opportunity to get some drinks on board and get some more messages onto his team. He's stood talking to Livramento quite intently.
Yep, Livramento, the left back. So the goal scorers, England scored twice in 2 minutes. In that period, Harry Kane and then Noni Madueke. Harry Kane, incidentally, has now scored in 16 different countries for England, which equals Wayne Rooney's record. 16 different countries. He's now got Serbia on the list, and with Declan Rice sending in the corner for Harry Kane's goal, which was it was as straightforward as could be. I'm not sure Harry Kane will rarely have had as much space from a corner to head in as he did for that goal.
Incredible how he wasn't marked, but I mean, it was a really good delivery from Declan Rice. But Kane still had a lot to do, didn't he, when the ball got to him? I mean, he's 12 yards out, he's kind of had to stoop and direct the header. Really good, powerful, low header.
And Declan Rice, that's now 3 goals and 5 assists in his last 13 England appearances. Zivkovic has received his treatment, and he's able to come back onto the field. Serbia are breaking forward. There's a collision, 2 players clashing off the ball on the edge of the box as this move breaks down the left-hand side, and Harry Kane is able to turn and chip it forward for Morgan Rogers to chase after, but Milinkovic gets there first. Goalkeeper Petrovic plays it out from the back. Portugal, who were 1-0 down, are now winning 2-1 in Budapest against Hungary, and Cristiano Ronaldo has scored yet another goal. What did we say the other day? 140 international goals. I think that's now 141 that he's scored. Harry Kane's got a little way to go to catch up with him, but Kane has now scored 5 goals under Thomas Tuchel and 4 goals in this group. So England with the ball at the back. Long pass from Pickford as Serbia are able to take up possession inside their own half. Lots of England substitutes milling around down there, Paul, who would, in these circumstances, 3-0, and suddenly the Serbian fans come to life in the stadium. Looking over the top of our balcony here, everyone bouncing up and down. So someone's managed to get them going. It is Lukic of Fulham who plays the ball through the middle to Vlahovic. That's cleared away for England. Actually, the offside flag is up, and free kick to England.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel has got his substitutes out warming up. We've seen 2 changes already from the Serbian manager, just about to make his 3rd substitution. As you say, you look at the quality that England have at Thomas Tuchel's disposal on the bench. The likes of Eze, Rashford, as we know, started the last game. Morgan Gibbs-White will think he was unlucky not to start the game tonight. For saying that, Morgan Rogers has taken his opportunity this far. Maybe Ollie Watkins, Jared Bowen. He won't be comfortable at 3-0, Thomas Tuchel. Before we see a raft of changes, I think he'd want another one ideally, but I do suspect just after the hour mark we may see a couple.
Dragan Stojkovic has taken off Ivan Ilic from the midfield, and he has brought on Lazar Samardzic of Atalanta for his 22nd cap, the number 20. Serbia 0, England 3. Still waiting for that first change from Thomas Tuchel, who's in the same outfit that he was wearing at Villa Park on the touchline on Saturday night, that all black, and he is just sending 1 or 2 signals out there as England are defending in the right back position with Mark Gay, who's holding off Vlahovic, and then Elliot Anderson calmly plays it across his 6-yard box. Pickford plays it out to Harry Kane, who goes for one of those early Harry Kane passes, but Declan Rice is able to see the ball back into the heart of the England half to Elliot Anderson. Just under half an hour to play. Serbia 0, England 3. And if you don't hear the reaction tonight, then on your BBC Sounds app, search Football Daily in the morning and you'll hear us wrap everything up from here. Still Wales 0, Canada 1 in the friendly in Swansea, as James infield to Morgan Rogers. Lovely angled ball for Kane inside the penalty area, but he can't get round Milenkovic, who does well, actually defends it well, gives it to Pavlovic, still inside their own penalty area. Milenkovic's clearance is charged down, Rice on the edge of the box, Gordon back to Rice, left foot shot, bounces straight at goalkeeper Petrovic, who can scoop it up into his chest.
Finding some space, Declan Rice, isn't he? On the edge of the box, finding a lot of space there, Declan Rice. Ball worked back to him from Anthony Gordon, this time it was on his left foot, didn't really make any good type of contact with it, harmlessly into the arms of Petrovic.
We're just seeing down to our left in the front rows of the stands, there's a disturbance there, and quite a number of men in black shirts actually are in that section, and there's also some trouble on the far side of the ground as well. There's a section on the far side where an area of seats has been emptied, and that also is an area where there are a lot of men in black shirts, and it seems to have calmed down, but I don't know whether there was a point. It's almost as if there was an agreed point where suddenly that trouble breaks out on both sides of the ground.
There's 2 or 3 pockets in the stadium where it's still clearly there's a lot of unrest. those heavily armed police officers that you spoke about earlier, they've all just made their way into the stadium. You can see to our left, they're coming all down the stairs.
Here they come
to the areas, but there is certainly pockets of unrest around the stadium in certain areas. It's not looking pretty.
No, it's not, and you can hear the chanting, and there must be 20 or 30 of those. I think they are police. They're very darkly dressed, and they've got crash helmets on and visors.
There's a lot of families below us leaving, taking the option to go, because that trouble did overspill, and it kind of ran over like 10 or 15 rows.
Yeah, we're sitting up high here, so we're looking down on the. It's a massive bowl, this stadium, and as Paul Robinson says, I can see now there are people streaming towards the exits, and as you correctly spotted, they do look like families have decided, right, if this is just going to be the mood, if this is going to be the tenor, the feeling this evening, 3-0 down, we're going to head off home.
There has been a real mood change, hasn't there? And I mean, the game at the moment, it's a possession game being played in the middle of the park. Everyone in the stadium seems to be watching around to see what's going on, but certainly the section below us is emptying very, very quickly, as is the far side of the stadium.
Yeah, and actually, while this is happening, the match seems to have affected the match, in that it's now very much being played, this little period here in between the penalty areas. Although here's Pavlovic down the left-hand side, the central defender, with a deep cross, which is flashed across the England goal and out of play. I think it went out, came back in. It's given as a goal kick. Jordan Pickford just has one or two things to say. I think things have calmed down with the arrival of the security forces. Still on the far side, there is an area in the stands where we can see lots of empty blue and white seats, and people have disappeared away from that area. But if you look there are dozens and dozens of men in black shirts, probably ultras, who are sitting over there. And as England just have to be careful inside their own penalty area, as Elliot Anderson's able to see the ball back to Pickford. And yes, those chants you could hear, Slobodan from the BBC Serbian services told us that they were anti-government chants. Feelings are running high here at the moment. There were demonstrations in central Belgrade yesterday, and the president, Alexander Vučić, is very much the target of that. So I think that's what we're seeing here inside the stadium. England breaking forward with Rodgers. Now to Madueke. Madueke again down the right, clips it in, it's headed away. Rodgers couldn't get there on the edge of the box. Actually, it was the substitute Samardzic who got there first and is able to play it back to the halfway line. England win it back there again. Elliot Anderson strides forward with it, gives it to Madueke. Madueke left-footed ball, drifts it in just over the top of Kane. That's headed away, comes out to Rice. Rice's shot, that's blocked right across the penalty area, and it actually more or less hits Pavlovic and bounces away off his body behind for an England corner.
He really is finding some pockets of space, Declan Rice. We know we talk about him playing as this deep lying midfielder, but he's allowing, with Elliot Anderson alongside him, they pivot really well, and Declan Rice is making these runs, finding these spaces on the edge of the box. That's the fourth shot he's had now, once again to no avail, but the spaces that he's finding, been really impressed with him tonight, Declan Rice.
Declan Rice walks down here. The 2,500 England fans are in splendid isolation, actually. They're in a section that is a long way away from any of the home supporters, and of course they've got the area of empty seats next to them as well, the 8,100. But Declan Rice applauds them, and here he is now. He's already set up one goal from a corner. Rice with the outswinger towards the penalty spot. It's bounced all the way out to Livramento, who eventually gets the ball under control and gives it to his Newcastle teammate Gordon. Then back to Livramento again, who goes for the dead ball line but overruns it, and it is through and behind for a goal kick. We are halfway through the second half then here in Belgrade. Serbia 0, England 3 the scoreline. Kane, Madueke and Konza the goal scorers, and England on the way to victory. And Ian Dennis will talk you through it.
Thank you, John. Well, I've got to say, you can feel the tension inside the stadium. And John has talked about the two different areas where there's been trouble, but that section over on the far side, there is now a gap that is continuing to widen, and people are just walking further and further away from that area of the ultras, who are, many of them are decked out in black. There's just been another tannoy announcement as well, but a number of Serbian supporters are leaving here, and UEFA will be watching with a great deal of scrutiny, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. The second half has been marred by scenes in the crowd, and there's a real strange atmosphere now. There's a real lull. Spectators leaving by the dozens, watching them over on the far side. Everyone seems to be streaming out of the stadium, and there's certainly big patches of empty seats. And as you can hear, the FX mic that we've had up for the noise and the incredible atmosphere in the stadium, it's completely turned and changed full circle. It's almost silent in here.
England have made 2 changes. Rashford has come on for Gordon, and Jed Spence has come on for England. He is the 30th different player that Thomas Tuchel has used in now his 6th game in charge. But Jed Spence becomes the first Muslim player to represent the men's senior side. A proud night for Jed Spence, and I'm sure he'll be hoping to inspire others in years to come. So he comes on for Reece James. So Jed Spence, who's been playing actually as a left back for Spurs, goes in at right back instead of Reece James, as there's going to be another change here for Serbia. And Alexander Mitrovic, who received that presentation ahead of the game, the former Fulham and Newcastle striker, now plying his trade in Qatar, comes on for his 102nd appearance, and it is like for like. He will replace Dusan Blahovic. So Alexander Mitrovic comes on, but it is 3-0 to England. Indeed, I was just saying to Slobodan as well, you know, that England win 4-1 in Belgrade is still the heaviest home defeat that Serbia, well, that was actually against the old, that was the old Yugoslavia, wasn't it? But so for Serbia, this actually matches the defeat to Belgium in October 2012, which is actually their only defeat in their last 28 World Cup qualifiers at home, going all the way back to 2001. But England have been absolutely outstanding for Thomas Tuchel, and Madueke once again driving as Pavlovic backpedals, goes through towards Rodgers, tried to turn, stopped. Lukic will bring the ball away for Serbia, all in royal blue, playing from right to left against England in white, as Spence goes to ground, makes a challenge, well timed, out it goes for a throw, and about 19 minutes remaining here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
He's kicking every ball tonight, Thomas Tuchel. There's no chance of him sitting on a drinks cooler watching this game. He's living every moment. His team 3-0 up and giving him the performance that he's asked for. And even there, Madueke had a good option, give the ball away, and you could see the frustration on Thomas Tuchel. He wants them to go and score more.
Still the riot police remain in the area beneath us, just slightly away towards our left-hand side, up towards Mitrovic, easily knocked off the ball by Gehi. Rashford plays it forward towards Harry Kane. Harry Kane goes into a challenge with Milinkovic, and the two captains coming together, and Milinkovic is off. The Nottingham Forest defender has been sent off by Clement Turpin. Milinkovic is protesting. He was the last line of defence, and it is a straight red. He must have still been about, 30 yards out from goal, but because he was making a direct run, Harry Kane, he wasn't running out towards the left-hand side. Because he was caught, Clement Turpin has shown him a red card.
Yeah, it was the last man. Harry Kane was about to get round. Clumsy tackle by Milinkovic. Not really much malice in it, but I think you could see that Harry Kane was going to get round the other side of him. I think that's what's gone into the referee's mind. Kane would have had a free run on goal. The Serbian players, Mitrovic included, still surrounding the referee, but the referee, to his credit, had no hesitation. He was right there, he was right on the spot. Immediately ran over and showed the red card.
Yeah.
I mean, watching the challenge again, Harry Kane's still down receiving treatment. It's a clumsy challenge more than anything, isn't it? And the referee's deemed that to have prevented a goal scoring opportunity. It has been checked on VAR and he's wandering off.
Willy Delajotte is the VAR official from France, and he's just indicated to Clement Turpin that the decision was a correct one, and now he's got that long walk. So the captain of Serbia, and any hopes of the English media hoping to speak to the Forest defender for that managerial change at the City Ground in that mix zone, might have also just taken a bit of a turn as well, because I can't really see that the Serbia captain will be forthcoming tonight. Pavlovic, incidentally, was booked as well for his protest. Moldova have got a goal back. Norway 7, Moldova 1. France 2, Iceland 1, and Bosnia 1, Austria 2, our latest scores. So for the next 16 minutes, they're going to have to see out this game with 10 men on what is a night that is proving to be rather costly in more ways than one. Bearing in mind that Sasa Lukic picked up a yellow card in the first half, he will now be suspended. Milinkovic will be suspended, and I'm sure as well that UEFA will take action for the trouble in the stands, bearing in mind that those warnings from the Serbian FA have not been heeded. As Rice with a free kick curls it in, Gehi is there, and England have got a 4th goal. Mark Gehi guides it in inside the 6-yard area. It is a comprehensive victory for England as they take a significant step towards the World Cup next summer. Toughest test in the group. Thomas Tuchel's side have passed it with flying colours. They lead 4-0.
Statement made, benchmark set. Great performance from England. Again, it's such a simple free kick. He spoke about set plays and the importance of them. Declan Rice with an in-swinging free kick. Serbia all over the shop, just gone down to 10 men. Marking nowhere to be seen. Mark Gay's got the freedom of the 6-yard box. Lovely ball by Declan Rice over the top of everybody. Gay with the outside of his right boot beats Petrovic from close range. 4-0. What an excellent performance.
His first goal as well. So we've had first goals for England tonight from Noni Madueke, Ezri Konsa and Mark Gehi on his 25th appearance for what has been certainly a difficult time at his club, with that move to Liverpool falling through on deadline day. His attitude, Thomas Tuchel has said, has been absolutely spot on, and he has got that 4th goal as Norway have rattled in an 8th now against Moldova. And Tchouameni has been sent off for France as they lead Iceland by 2-1. Velkovic is coming on, a defender for Serbia. So I think it was Zivkovic has gone off, Velkovic has come on, and England have also made a couple of changes, as I think a Serbia supporter has tried to get at the England section. That's not very wise at all. He's trying to pull down some of the St George's flags that are draped over the red railings away towards our right, and in fact security now are making sure that the reinforcements, I mean, how can he come through that gap? He's got to climb over a white wall, red railings, and then get onto the track, but he's now been taken down to the ground. England have made changes. Madueke and Kane are off, and Watkins and Bowen are on. It's all happening. In fact, the riot police now are having to go and deal with that supporter who's been apprehended and is still face down on the red tarmac.
I'll tell you what, Ian, I'm glad you're here tonight, because I don't fancy this walk back to the hotel. I'm glad I've got you by my side. You on one side and John on the other. We'll be all right, won't we?
I'm glad I've got you in the middle. In a rapidly emptying Rajko Mitic Stadium here, the home of Red Star since 1963. But I'm sure the Serbian FA will not at all be impressed with the conduct of some of their supporters, as that little flick downfield by Bowen. Spence with the cross from the right-hand side. There's a slip there. It'll be picked up now by Bowen once again in a central area, out towards Rashford, links up well, crosses the ball in towards the penalty area, and then it's swept away by Kostic, and it'll be a free kick to Serbia. I'm watching more what's happening off the pitch rather than on it.
Yeah, it's been a debacle, hasn't it? It really has. The behaviour and the conduct of the home supporters. We know there's unrest in the country at the moment, but the riot police, they're having to do the job now, reprimanding that supporter who tried to make his way over to the England supporters. The stadium, as you say now, you can look round to our left and you can almost pick out the writing on the seats. There has been violence, there's been inwardly fighting, really. They've been fighting amongst themselves, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And I'm sure that UEFA will take note as well, bearing in mind, I mean, this is staggering. Over the past 5 years, the Serbian FA have been fined, as I'll just hold off, because Rashford in towards the penalty area. Rashford shoots, good shot as well, and Petrovic with a very good save. He opened up his body, hit it right-footed from just inside the area, central position. Petrovic, away to his left, made a tumbling save.
Yeah, it's a smart save from Petrovic. This game's over. England are picking and choosing as and when they want to attack. Good play that time from Marcus Rashford. He's come on, playing wide on the left, and that trademark move that we see him do so often, cuts in alongside the edge of the 18-yard box on his right foot. Decent height for the goalkeeper Petrovic, but a good save. Turns it round the corner. England corner.
Bowen's going to take the corner kick. We've got about 11 minutes remaining here in Belgrade. A missile then has just been lobbed from the supporters in front of us. Didn't reach Jared Bowen. It'll be picked up by an official. Corner's taken short. Bowen then towards Rice. Back out towards Rashford. Rashford then with a cross. Only partially cleared. Anderson down into the ground, controls it, runs, slows it down. Back out towards Rashford. And here is Rice once again. England lead by 4-0. Rashford, Anderson, Bowen on the inside. Rodgers gets a touch. Passing the ball quickly, sharp, crisp passing. Bowen now comes inside in towards the penalty area. Might run through out towards that far side. Gahey with a cutback. Saved by Petrovic's legs. Declan Rice hit it first time, left-footed. Had Petrovic not made the saves he had, England could have got 7 or 8 here tonight. Yeah, that's another good save by Petrovic, the Bournemouth goalkeeper. England fans away to our right, they're starting to enjoy their away trip now. Really, really comfortable it is now for England, picking Serbia open at will. The wide areas, Rashford, Declan Rice once again getting in a really good position. Just watching the replay, excellent save. And as you say, it could have been 6 or 7 for England. There are 6 riot policemen stood in front of the England supporters. I would suggest that they need to stand in front of the Serbian supporters.
I tell you what, I'll carry on, you go and tell them, eh?
Jordan Henderson is going to be coming on his 85th cap. He was heavily involved in the warm-up with the starting 11, almost like what you'd see as a coaching member of staff, like a player coaching role. But Jordan Henderson comes on. Declan Rice, who's had an outstanding game in the midfield, makes way. So Jordan Henderson comes on for the next 9 minutes or so of normal time, where England lead by 4-0. And I would say now that the stadium here in Belgrade is probably about half full, judging by how many Serbian supporters have left already. A lot of stewards with their luminous yellow jackets are now stood in front of the Serbian supporters on the far side where the corner comes in. Gahey couldn't get there. Livramento turns, and then the ball from Spence back out towards that far side, space for Bowen to run into, drives into the penalty area, fires it across the goal, and then it was steered in by Rashford at the far post, but the flag was up and it was offside, and that goal will not count.
Defensively they're a shambles, Serbia. They've down tools, they just want the final whistle. I mean, really good play again by England. This time Jared Bowen popping up on the left hand side. He's got 10-15 yards of space to run into, freely into the box. Hammers a shot at the far post. It's a cross-come shot. Marcus Rashford looked to try and tap it in at the far post, but he strayed just offside. Again, another good passage of play for England.
I didn't want to miss any of the action, but I was going to tell you about this staggering statistic about the Serbian FA. So over the last 5 years, they have been fined €703,375, which is €30,000 less than the fines in the previous 14 years. I would suggest there is going to be more incoming from UEFA. Norway 10, Moldova 1. Haaland has now got 5 of those 10 goals.
Well, his week has improved. Did you see him in social media this week?
I didn't.
Managed to pick up 3 stitches on his chin this week, Erling Haaland, for a collision with the bus door. The bus door, inadvertently opened up on his chin. So if you see Erling Haaland playing tonight with a slight graze on his chin and 3 stitches, he had a fight with a bus this week.
We got 7 minutes remaining, and Jordan Pickford on course for that 7th successive clean sheet, which actually would be his 40th clean sheet in his England career. That would mean that only Joe Hart and Peter Shilton have kept more clean sheets, because that would take him level with David Seaman.
Impressive, that, isn't it?
It is.
He's nearly had as many clean sheets as I had caps.
Well, I've got to say, mind you, your ratio was good, Paul.
It was a decent ratio.
24 clean sheets in 41.
Yeah, maybe slightly prematurely ended my own international career.
Here is Spence for England, all in white. The England supporters singing the national anthem. Every outfield player is in the half away towards our right-hand side. England, their hunger levels haven't diminished. They're still looking for more goals. Here is Rodgers. That was a nice little turn. Just scoops it out towards Bowen. Bowen now with a shot. Takes a deflection. Might fall towards Rodgers. And then it's cleared by Kostic. But Serbia really are coming under all sorts of pressure.
They've been superb tonight, England. They really have. We spoke in the pre-game show about Thomas Tuchel, about what have we seen, what have we learnt from him since he's taken over. This is everything that we wanted to see. I mean, like you say, the international managers don't get that much time with the teams. They don't get that much time with these players to work on the training ground, nor that many games in succession. This is the first game in Thomas Tuchel's reign where we've actually gone, yeah, we can see what he wants to do here. Yeah. I like this. They're playing a mix of longer balls, playing in the right areas. They've pressed high. They've been really impressive.
Rashford again, jinking his way in towards the penalty area, still going. Ball stuck to his feet, plays it out the area. Shot then comes in from Anderson. Went to try and place it with a curling effort, blocked. Livramento over on that far side. England lead by 4-0. Just over 5 minutes to go to half-time. Live on 5 Live as the ball is cleared, but just Serbia can't get out. They are being forced back, and this is Spence. This has been so impressive from an England point of view, and they're going to equal a record as well, because it would be 7 competitive games where they have not conceded, which would actually equal a record set by the Sir Bobby Robson side in the late 80s, October 88 to October 89. 4-0 they lead, under 5 minutes to go. We're on and through till 10:30. We'll bring you as much live reaction as we can. If not, it'll be in the 5 Live Football Daily Pod. Tony Libsey, remember, takes over at 10:30 on 5 Live. England supporters, 2,500 of them, still in good voice away towards our right. Here is Spence, out towards Rodgers. Rodgers back inside to Henderson. They have, there's a slip there by Anderson in the midfield, but then given away by Mitrovic. Bowen stopped. Mitrovic picks it up deep inside his own half for Serbia. Quickly crowded though by England, who are still hunting in packs for the ball.
Still chasing the ball down even in this late stage.
What would you say has caught your eye the most?
I think Madueke's been outstanding on the right hand side. Anthony Gordon's played well, and I think the way that the wide players stretched the pitch made the game open and allowed England to play. But I think the biggest change you can see tonight, the directness, that instead of the 5, 6, 7 passes to try and create something, they'll go over the top or play slightly more direct and then play in the right areas. It's been a possession with intent. There's been a real performance from England tonight. They've set out to win a game, and they've carried out exactly what the manager said they were going to do. I've been really, really impressed with them, and it's a long time since I've said that about England.
Yes, yeah, it's the first glimpse, as you say. We certainly didn't see anything from Thomas Tuchel in his first 5 games in charge, but to be fair to him, he's been maintaining all along that progress was being made. Certainly the feel from the England camp at St George's Park that it's been a good week in the training. And when they arrived, albeit delayed last night due to, I think, storms delayed their takeoff from Birmingham Airport, they arrived in really, really good heart. And speaking to Harry Kane, they were optimistic, because now they're racing away, and it's Rashford on that far side, the left, who's been sent clear. And Rashford now carries the ball to the edge of the area with pace, enters the box, slips it into the path of Watkins, who goes down. Referee has a good look at that, wags his finger and says no penalty. York 2, Tamworth 0 is the latest score in the National League. This is 5 Live.
Oh, that was a penalty. That looked all the world for a penalty. Ollie Watkins still down in the box on the way to our right-hand side. Marcus Rashford does extremely well. Half a length of the pitch, gets into the box, sees Watkins on his outside. Thomas Tuchel stood below on the edge of his dugout, arms are wide. Still asking the referee, 4-0 up, he's not happy. I mean, that's a really clumsy challenge on Ollie Watkins, Rakovic I think it is, and it's a stonewall penalty for me. I'm sure that VAR will check it.
They are.
How he's not given it, seen it. The referee's been excellent this evening. England players around the referee, they want a penalty. Seen one replay and it looked all the world a penalty.
Well, Harry Kane is off the field, of course. He's scored his last 31 penalties for club and country. This has got to be a penalty. Jordan Henderson now is in the ear of Clement Turpin, but having a look at it again, it has to be a penalty, surely.
He's coming over to the screen. I mean, we've only been privy to one replay, but I mean, we are sat quite a distance away from the pitch of the incident. But I mean, you could see quite clearly from up here, immediately, you could see Ollie Watkins' reaction. I mean, at 4-0 up, he's not going to dive in that situation. He's gone over, and it's a really clumsy challenge, and it will be given as a penalty.
Well, Serbia's record defeat overall was away to Ukraine in 2019 when they lost 5-0. The penalty has been awarded, and England now have got an opportunity to get that 5th goal. Erakovic with a challenge on Rashford, and it's been a sorry night for Serbia.
This really could put the icing on the cake for England. Everything that we spoke about before, what we wanted to see from England, this is what we've been waiting for. This type of performance in what was potentially a really difficult place. You know, you and John have spoke about the stats and how long it is since Serbia have lost the game here and the intimidating atmosphere. This, on paper, was a really difficult place for England to come tonight, and they've certainly put in one of the best performances in a long time.
Marcus Rashford has been given the ball. He places it down on the spot. England, all in white, are playing from left to right as we look. He's up against Jordi Petrovic, who stands on his goal line. Marcus Rashford waits. He's almost side on before he starts his run-up. He's giving no clues as to which way this is going. Now he takes a couple of steps back. A stuttering run-up from Rashford, and Rashford scores. Slots it in with ease. Marcus Rashford with his first goal in almost 2 years for England seals what has been a 5-star display. Sorry night for Serbia. Serbia 0, England 5.
Job well and truly done. Mission accomplished here in Serbia tonight. Excellent performance, Marcus Rashford. The trademark no-look penalty, like we've seen Ivan Toney do over the years. Waits for the goalkeeper. Sideways run-up, stutters, almost kicks it off one step, watches the goalkeeper, and as soon as the goalkeeper drops his shoulder, Marcus Rashford places it into the other side. All-round excellent evening for Thomas Tuchel and England.
If you were to say a 5-star display then for England, what could you say for Norway as they've just got another goal? Heaven 11, Norway 11, Moldova 1, and Rangers' Taylor Asgard has got a hat-trick for Norway. So 5 for Erling Haaland and 3 for Asgard. 3 minutes of added on time here in Belgrade. England leads Serbia 5-0, so it is a joint record heaviest defeat for Serbia, as we will go Wales, Canada and Molly Stevens.
Yeah, Wales 0, Canada 1. We're into 3 minutes of added time here, Ian. Mark Harris very nearly got the equaliser for Wales in the past few minutes, but I have to say Canada have played some brilliant football tonight. Really exciting to see what the World Cup co-hosts can do next year at the World Cup. Wales 0, Canada 1.
Thank you, Molly. England, incidentally, have scored now in each of their last 22 World Cup qualifiers. 67 goals in that process, going all the way back to 2016 in a goalless draw away to Slovenia. I don't think there'll be anybody left in the Serbia area of this stadium, will there?
No, it's very, very rapidly emptied. Started slowly in the second half, people trickling away when the violence started, but now it's almost empty, isn't it, apart from the England fans away to our right, who will no doubt be kept in, but they will have certainly enjoyed what they watched this evening.
Yes, they will. Some of the horns are being sounded as well, as we've got 60 seconds remaining, and we'll try and bring you as much live reaction as we can before 5 Live Sport finishes at 10:30. But there is indeed the final whistle. So impressive. Oh no, that was the whistle from
That's the whistle in the crowd.
That fooled me on that occasion, didn't you?
The players stopped as well.
I know.
It wasn't just you, the players had stopped.
Even the England supporters cheered too. I thought he was blowing early.
The England support staff have all got up off the bench and started to pack up as well.
I'm glad it wasn't just me. Here is Spence.
Watch the referee. Look, he's about to blow it. You keep your eye on the referee.
Yeah.
I'll listen out.
We've got about 15 seconds remaining. The olays from the England supporters. 5-0. Henderson spreads the ball out towards Spence. Spence brings it down off his right knee. Rodgers infield, and there indeed is the final whistle this time. And an impressive performance from England in every aspect. But for Serbia, a night to forget. Serbia 0, England 5. Paul.
You run out of superlatives for England tonight. It's everything that you wanted to see. I mean, the performances in recent games have been lacklustre. They've been a poor watch. I remember sat at home watching the game at Villa Park at the weekend, thinking, it's a poorish performance. But tonight, everything that Thomas Tuchel said, what he wanted from his team, the tactics that he set his team up, they followed it out right to the nth degree. It's been a really, really workmanlike, impressive statement performance from England tonight. But like I say, it's what you want to see, it's what you expect from England. We've got the quality of players, but we've not been able to get that type of tune out of them before. Thomas Tuchel in the games leading up to this, we haven't seen that type of performance, but he's certainly got a performance out of them tonight. That was impressive.
Certainly was. Kane and Madueke in the first half, Konsa Gehi and a Rashford penalty in the second half, giving England that 5-0 victory. As you can hear, the England supporters away towards our right-hand side, but those that have remained in the Rajko Mitic Stadium booing once again. The Serbian coach Dragan Stojkovic coming under increasing pressure from the supporters. They finished the game, of course, with 10 men after the sending off of Milenkovic with 18 minutes to go. The England players go to acknowledge the travelling support on a great night for England. Serbia 0, England 5. Kelly.
Ian Dennis, Paul Robinson and John Murray in Belgrade for us. We're also joined by Phil Jagielka, and we'll be getting their thoughts right the way through until 10:30 here on 5 Live Sport. On social media, Gareth said, very impressive by England. This has been achieved without Palmer, Bellingham, Foden, Stones, Saka, Alexander-Arnold, all world-class footballers. Stephen says Morgan Rogers has been excellent. His pressing has put a lot of pressure on Serbia. John asks, where did this come from after 2 dire games, Andorra? We get this sublime show. And Sam said, I can't wait for the "it's only Serbia" comment. I don't think you're going to get them here. We're going to be talking about a really good performance for England, a 5-0 victory for them in Serbia between now and 10:30. If you think that was good, Norway have beaten Moldova by 11 goals to 1. 5 of those Norway goals for Haaland ahead of this weekend's Manchester derby. There is commentary of that on Premier League Sunday. Hungary 2, Portugal 3. It finished Armenia 2, Republic of Ireland 1 earlier, and France 2, Iceland 1. Wales in friendly action against Canada, and it's full time in Swansea. Molly Stevens.
Yeah, Wales 0, Canada 1, Kelly. Canada take the 1-0 win. Jesse Marsh's side, a really exciting team to watch. 1-touch, 2-touch, front foot football. Their goal came in the first half. Thunderous free kick from centre back Derek Cornelius. Lots of learnings for lots of young Wales players tonight who just didn't find a rhythm in the game. Wales lose for only the second time under Craig Bellamy, and guess what? Next up for them, it's a friendly against England at Wembley as Bellamy continues to test his side amongst those World Cup qualifiers. It finishes here, Wales 0, Canada 1.
That's one to look forward to. Molly, thank you very much for everything this evening. So Ian Dennis, Paul Robinson and John Murray are in Belgrade for us. Phil Jagielka also joins us to reflect on England's 5-0 defeat of Serbia in Belgrade. Phil, BBC senior football correspondent Sani Mokbel has said on the live page on the website, finally the Thomas Tuchel era has liftoff. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I think so. It was always going to be a tough game to go to Serbia and get the win, let alone win in the style that we have. We scored some good goals, we scored some good set pieces. Every box pretty much ticked, and we said before, obviously we're missing some key players, but sometimes that gives opportunity to players that potentially wouldn't have got a chance, and I think those lads have done really well tonight.
Paul, England managers, when they come in, all managers really, but England managers in particular, they need a statement win, a statement performance. Has Thomas Tuchel got that now?
Said it before the game, that's what we needed, and absolutely, I mean, that's the best that I've seen an England team play for a long time. I mean, we saw in the previous games against Andorra, Latvia, Albania, they won the games, but they didn't win them convincingly. That's the type of performance that we should have seen against the lesser sides, if you like. I mean, England, if it wasn't for Petrovic tonight in goal for Serbia, England could have had 6, 7, 8 goals. They were that good tonight. You know, Serbia folded at the end when Milenkovic got sent off, but England reduced them to that. England battered them into the corner. They just didn't take their foot off the pedal tonight. They pressed high, they won the ball back, they used the ball wisely in areas, they used the set plays. Madueke and Gordon were outstanding in the wide areas, and it was just a really impressive all-round performance. And in answer to your original question, absolutely that was a statement win.
And Paul, those two goals coming round about the half-hour mark for Harry Kane and Noni Madueke meant that Serbia had to come out. We said this at half-time, that England were going to find that there were more opportunities in the second half. But just talk to me about the performance up to that point, for that first half hour. You talked about England sort of grinding Serbia down.
Yeah, they were constant. They just didn't go away. And when they did lose possession, they wanted to win it back. And it wasn't just isolated incidents of individuals pressing. They pressed as a team. They pressed as a unit. We all talk about, in the media and in the press, the team's got to have an identity. What's an identity? What does it look like? That tonight is an identity. They pressed as a team. They pressed as a unit. They won the ball back. But when they won the ball back, the two wide players got wide, they made the pitch big. The relationship between Declan Rice and Anderson was impressive. The whole spine through the team, Konza and Gay, kept the Serbian strikers very, very quiet. All over the pitch, every single individual won their battles. Yes, we'll say, that's what should be happening, but it hasn't previously happened. Like I said to you, I watched the game at Villa Park at the weekend, and like many others, I was thoroughly underwhelmed by it. Tonight, I was excited to watch that. That was a good England performance.
To be fair, I couldn't agree more, Paul. They've gone into a little bit of an intimidating atmosphere, and they've done something that was quite nice for the England team, is to recognise the Serbia team was under a little bit of pressure. They've not scored many goals. You could see their fans could potentially turn, and for once, rather than a team coming in sort of trying to quieten down the English players and team, we went there, quietened them down, and we put a thoroughly professional performance together with quite a young squad as well. Quite a lot of young lads, as I said before, that played together in the 21s, took their chance tonight.
That was actually the remit as well, Phil. Thomas Tuchel, when he was addressing the players, the message was to keep the ball. Let's try and control the crowd early on. They were so proactive from the first whistle, carried out his message to a T, and also as well, Kelly, that it was only 6 games. That was, for what was the toughest test for England, the most inexperienced team that he's named. The starting 11 only had 340 caps, so that's the least experienced side he's picked in his 6 games. And as Paul has already alluded to, so many impressive performances in that 11.
By far the best performance, without a shadow of a doubt, and that happens quite often. When you look at the players that are not in the squad, I mean, we spoke about it before the game: Grealish, Foden, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Saka, Wharton, Bellingham. Those players were likely to come back into the squad at some point. But quite often when you have big names missing, the team then becomes the star. And the team tonight for England, they were united. There was a lot of cohesion. There was a lot of understanding. And you could see relationships forming on the pitch. The right-hand side was the most dangerous for England, with Reece James and Madueke. Really impressed with the way that Madueke played tonight. A lot of positives.
He's hit 30 players used already, Thomas Tuchel, as he tries to to come across that first choice starting 11 that we talked about in the build-up to the game. And it's worth mentioning as well, Phil, the players, and we sort of touched on this earlier on: Palmer, Bellingham, Foden, Stones, Saka, Alexander-Arnold, not available for this game.
Yeah, we know how good the strength and depth is, but you sort of don't really want it at the same extent. But it's a great headache now for Thomas Tuchel that those players that have played in, especially tonight, have put their name down, have put a marker down now, and it's going to be tough for those players, no matter how well they play, to come and ask to be starting in the next game. So it's a great headache to have. As Paul said, the relationships that looked like they'd formed even over tonight, but working especially on the right side, even obviously Morgan in the number 10 and things like that. These are going to be tough people to move, and if I wasn't in the England squad tonight and I saw that game, I'd know I've got a lot of hard work to try and get back in there.
The other game that took place tonight in England's group, Albania beat Latvia by 1-0. So the table looks like this. England are top, having played 5 games with 15 points, maximum number of points, as we know, from their games, with a goal difference of 13. Albania are second with 8 points. Serbia 8 points behind England now, although Serbia have played a game less. Latvia on 5 games with 4 points. Andorra at the bottom with no points from their opening games. England now only need 5 points from the remaining games, I think, Deno.
I will take your mathematics with that, Lady Kelly.
I think they need 5 points from their remaining 3 games in this group, which puts them, Paul, in a really, really comfortable position. And look, they've had, as you said, steady performances, or steady results really, with low-key performances. Tonight has kind of changed all of that, and it's shown what this group of players are capable of. Was there something in the way that that England set up? I know you talked about the new players coming in, the fact that they're not necessarily experienced players, but was there more attacking talent? Was it a more attacking intent? What was the difference in this performance?
It was the intent. It was the tempo immediately that the game was played at. When they took the kick-off, Declan Rice went straight back to Jordan Pickford. But when England had the kick-off, every single player in a white shirt was on the halfway line. It was a set play. It went back from Declan Rice to Jordan Pickford, who then launched it into the Serbia penalty area. And they won a throw-in deep in Serbia half. I mean, nothing came of it. But they weren't afraid to play these longer balls into certain areas and then allow their talent to play football in the right areas. They didn't put the ball at risk at the back. We quite often see teams overplaying, rolling the goal kicks across the 6-yard line. We didn't see so much of that. Yes, there was incidents in the game where they played around at the back and they controlled the game, is the best way of describing it. There's a time and a place to keep the ball and rotate possession in and around your own 18-yard box without putting the ball at risk. And England did that, and the possession, the tempo and the control over anything was the most impressive thing that England had tonight, because from the first whistle to the last they were in complete control and you could see exactly what they were trying to employ the whole game. It was good, it really was, Kelly.
And just some extra context to that, Serbia have lost just one of their last 28 home World Cup qualifiers since 2001, and that was defeat by Belgium in 2012. This is not an easy place for any team to go and get the result, and England have done it in style with that 5-0 victory. Phil, you said that if you were maybe one of the more senior, more experienced England players who wasn't involved this evening, you'd be knowing that you'd have to work hard to get your place back in the squad. Who do you think's done a good job for England? Who's going to put themselves right in the manager's thinking?
Well, I think we alluded to it before. Obviously, Madueke is obviously shone out. Morgan Rogers in the 10. Again, we spoke about who's going to play sort of the holding midfielder. Again, Anderson came in, did another good job. It's difficult. Obviously, he'll chop and change again, but it's a really nice thing to know that basically whoever normally gets that position, that role now, is going to have to step his game up, and that's what it should be. It should be the hardest squad to get into because we've got so many good players, and that's the way it should be. But I'm sure we'll be having all sorts of different types of conversations when the squad's announced next time, and there's probably people not in it or different people starting in different places. But that's where we're at. But hopefully Thomas Tuchel's found out a few things about his squad and his players. They can play in tough atmospheres, tough places to go. As you just said, they don't lose games at home, Serbia, let alone get battered 5-0. So a massive box ticked as far as character and stuff goes tonight, and he'll be looking to take that forward, obviously, for the planning for the World Cup.
I'll tell you what's interesting, Kelly, is that Thomas Tuchel, just particularly if we focus on the right back, Alexander Arnold and Kyle Walker have been omitted from the squad, and Thomas Tuchel sees that Reece James and Tino Livramento are ahead of Alexander Arnold and Walker for that right back slot at the minute. But the versatility of Tino Livramento is that tonight he played as a left back. Reece James earlier on the campaign played as a left back. So the two who he sees vying to keep out Walker and Alexander Arnold in the right back slot have both played as a left back in this campaign, and he's got a lot of options in defence as Thomas Tuchel in that respect.
I think the options that he's got, I mean, we all talk about does he know his best 11? He will never pick the same 11 as an international manager, because you'll have players who are out of form, players who are injured, and like we said, the players that are missing from this squad. But the players that aren't in the squad, or the players that didn't play tonight, will watch that performance and they will know that that's what is expected of them now. That's the way they've got to play, and that's what the manager wants. His best 11 is, listen, you'll never be able to do that as an international manager because of the rotation of players. But he's certainly, if those players are fit and available next time, it'll be interesting to see what he does.
It's happened 3 times that England have named an unchanged side, 3 times since 1982.
Right.
There you go. Where do you pull that from in the file
puts that one into context. Just on the Livramento point, and on that idea that maybe his right backs can also play as left backs. Do you think that's deliberate from Tuchel, Ian, that he wants to bring versatile players into the squad? Because over the course of a tournament, as everybody's kind of alluded to, there are going to be injuries, there are going to be players in and out of form, there are going to be situations where you'll need players to do something other than what their first choice position is.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I mean, it'll be a squad of 26, but in that as well, you're going to have. Lewis Skelly as well. He was not included in the matchday squad of 23 today, but he's been I thought was going to be a regular at left back. You've got the potential for Hall at Newcastle possibly as well, so that he's got these options. On the evidence of what we've seen so far, I think it might be hard, particularly for Kyle Walker as well as Alexander-Arnold, to get back into this England squad, because Livramento, I thought, played really, really well tonight. He looked comfortable. That was only his second start for his country, and he looked very much at ease.
This is going to sound daft, but he likes fullbacks that are able to defend. And he wants a fullback. The first thing with his fullbacks, able to defend in a tight, narrow back four, but also give him something going forward. And I think maybe with Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm not necessarily sure that he trusts him defensively above what he's got in his squad now.
Jed Spence, playing as a left back for Tottenham this season, comes on tonight for his England debut as a right back.
And in the process becomes the first player to represent England who is Muslim. So kind of a huge watershed moment for him as well in terms of that, and I'm sure we'll hear more from him on that. So 5 different goal scorers for England this evening. There was a conversation we were having beforehand, and I think, Ian, it was you who made the point about Harry Kane, that perhaps England were too reliant on him, and not that he's unreliable, but that maybe there weren't too many options outside of Harry Kane for England. Does 5 different scorers on the score sheet help to solve that problem?
I think so, yeah. But also, I think going back over the last 20-odd internationals, England, only the second time they've scored 5 goals. So it's been a while since England put a team to the sword, if you like. I think Ireland 5-0 last autumn was the only other time that it's happened in recent matches from an England point of view. But yeah, I think it does in that respect. I think it will always please any manager when you get 5 different goal scorers. And for Harry Kane, I mean, in the last 40 internationals, he's played 33. Watkins has played 5. Tony, who I think is going to struggle to get back into the squad, just the once. And he's got the option as well of it was against Greece last October. He played Foden in a false 9. But if you speak to Thomas Tuchel, Kelly, he would say, well, Rodgers can play there, Rashford can play there, Bowen could play there. So they have got a number of options.
And of course, the England captain, Harry Kane, is so rarely out of form. He always delivers for England. He's done it again this evening against Serbia with the opening goal in that 5-0 victory. Here is the England captain with John Murray.
Yes, here he is, Kelly. Harry Kane, congratulations. That was a bit of a statement, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke a lot yesterday about how we wanted to play and being on the front foot and being aggressive, and I think we showed our level today. Even in the other games, I feel like we've done well, but we haven't quite reached kind of top form. Tonight was totally different. You come away to a place like this against a good side, score 5, make it look really comfortable. We can be really proud of ourselves. So it's been a great camp, and we're in a great position now.
It's good right from the off, wasn't it, tonight?
Yeah, you could go all the way back to the first kick. Pickers, we spoke before about trying to kick it into the box, got it in the box, kind of had a little knockdown and did nothing come of it. But I think that was just the statement we had from the first minute. We wanted to play in their half and put balls into their box. We wanted to press high. And that's exactly what we've done. They found it difficult to play. Whenever they did break, we recovered quickly and then limited them to very few chances. So, overall we can be pleased with the whole week, I think, and then we take this into the next camp.
And I know Thomas Tuchel said on Saturday night, he said to us yesterday that he felt that it was coming. But it's all very well saying that, isn't it? You've got to do it.
Yeah, I think it's just a feeling we've had in the camp this week. I think the energy's been higher. I think the level in training's been higher. Maybe the motivation as well. And look, we felt like we had a good performance a few days ago. I know it wasn't the performance everyone was excited about, but we done what we had to. So we was coming into this game with maybe a little point to prove, to show that we can play at the highest level and we can make it really difficult for these teams. Serbia are a really good team, and we made them look average tonight. So overall, we just got to build on this. We've got a good camp, a stranger camp next one with a friendly and then a qualifier, but we'll be ready for that, and we're just building now, hopefully until next summer.
Yeah, and 5 matches played in the group now, 105, not conceded a goal. Qualification looks, they look to have 1 foot in the States already.
Yeah, sounds good when you put it like that, for sure. But yeah, no, that's what we want. And it's never easy to qualify for a major tournament. Sometimes we've made it look easy over the past. We're making this one look easy, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of mindset that goes into it. A lot of pressure playing for England, and we've all handled that really well. There's a few new faces in the squad. Another debut tonight for Jed. So Another first goal scorer right next to me here in Ez. I'll let him have that one. So yeah, look, we're building something, and look, it's not going to be perfect, but we can take nights like tonight with great spirit and use that as a good energy.
Lovely. Well done, Harry.
Thank you.
And without further ado, we'll go from the man who scored tonight his 74th goal for England to a man who scored his first goal for England. Esri Konza, well done. Great night for you.
Thank you. Yeah, excellent night. Like I've said in previous interviews, a moment I've dreamt of since I was a kid, and you always dream about these moments. And when I was young, I always pictured it, trying to score for England. So for it to finally happen, and my whole family watching back home, it was a proud moment, and I'll never ever forget.
That's where you wanted it as well, wasn't it? You were virtually standing next to the post.
Of course, definitely. I think in set pieces, especially at centre halves, we have to think like the attackers, like H, and all of them up top. So it's something I've been trying to work on to try and get more goals. So to finally score today, it was an amazing moment.
Yeah. So even though I presume you've spent almost all of your career as a defender, even when you're a youngster, you still had that dream of actually scoring for England.
Of course, 1,000,000%. I think that's everyone's dream, especially no matter where you play. I don't know about goalkeepers, I'll forget about the goalkeepers. But as defenders, midfield, wherever you play, but it's everyone's dream to score for their country, and like I said, a proud moment and a night I'll never forget.
Yeah, and a good feeling for you all in the dressing room to produce like that.
100%. We've had a great week in camp. We showed our levels in training and in both games. So like I said, look, we knew if we came into the game with the right mindset and the same quality that we have been putting in for the last week, we knew that we could come here and get a victory, and that's what we did today.
Well done, Esri. You'll have sweet dreams tonight, won't you?
Probably won't sleep. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Esri Konza, absolutely delighted, John, wasn't he, about scoring that goal for England, his first goal for England, the third of England's goals. Phil Jagielka, all defenders grow up dreaming of scoring a big goal for their country.
I bet you he didn't play in defence when he was young, so I'll let him off.
He said he did. No, he said he did.
No way. All of us started as strikers, surely. No one wanted to play in defence when they were young, surely. No, but fair play. He's done really well every time he's played for England, and I didn't realise it was his first goal, obviously, when he scored it today, but that'll live with him. That's a great moment. I remember scoring my first goal, and a massive proud moment any time you play for your country, but to be able to get an added bonus, especially as a defender, to get up there and score a goal. And to be fair, tonight, every time a set piece came in, we looked dangerous. Obviously scored from sort of three of them as well, so I'm sure that'll delight the set piece coach, whoever that is.
Lots more to talk about between now and 10:30 after England's 5-0 win against Serbia in Belgrade. But we're just going to take a pause now and get the BBC headlines with Nick Hatfield.